Yes, we are up now.
Good. So once again, you're welcome to another session of Rubbing Minds in the sector. Yes, we're on lockdown. The education space is on lockdown, but we are not locked down, and we need to continue engaging in dialogue, in conversation, to ensure that we keep encouraging one another and get planning. We need to keep planning even while we are saying low. So we are here to keep discussing issue. Today we have another very interesting issue to look at:
Planning. We need to keep.
remote learning and school business sustainability. And then we know for remote learning to occur, there are a lot of things that are involved. I know a lot of our schools have tried one way or the other, and some parents are still in, some parents are out. There will be reasons. But now and beyond now, we need to really get ourselves together so that we can be able to continuously engage and offer quality education. I welcome you once again. Thank you. Mr. Laniyo.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Dimeji.
Good morning.
It's nice having you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Mr. Dimeji is one of our panelists, as well as Mr. Bassi. We will get to know them better when we reach the session that concerns them. To our esteemed audience, we want to say welcome online. Like the principal host of this webinar has said, we are in a lockdown period, but we should not be locked down. And for some time, we've been coming up with webinars on school matters, concerning school owners, educators, business investment in the education sector. And we also talked about the government's intervention plan. But today, we are looking at learning management system, and sustainability in school business. So we welcome you, our esteemed audience. We want to definitely tell you that you're going to have an awesome time with us. We have excellent speakers and panelists already prepared for today's session. We have a comment session. You can also roll in your comments and questions. We will be picking them as we go. We may also probably give room for calls if time permits us, for us to welcome your calls. There are also opportunities for school owners to share their concerns, their challenges in this lockdown, or how have they been able to overcome the pressure or the crisis of this lockdown vis-a-vis their school business. So it's on this note that I welcome you once again, and I will hand over now to Mrs. Adekobe to give us an introductory remark of the topic of the day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Laniyo. And great time to have everybody here. Thank you for your time. And for all that you are doing in this space, we are all doing well. We're not just keeping quiet. We're seeing what we can do to ensure that life is back in our sector. Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet, sister.
Now? Not yet?
Not yet.
I think somebody's still in the backstage. Kane, eh?
Okay.
We will turn him in so long as she can share her screen immediately. So
okay.
What about now?
You, can you restart again? It seems it's blank.
It's still not up.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Can you close the screen and restart that particular screen, not the whole screen?
Okay.
All right. Esteemed audience, please, if you are online, can you please share your comments? Can we have your comments? Say good morning. And your name so we can welcome you. Okay, I have a few online already. Good morning, Jennifer Okoli. Good morning, Becky Atta. Good morning, Michael Ogedegbe. Good morning, Motunrayo Odekunle. Pace Setters Phonics. Good morning. Yes, we are live now. Ms. Adekogbe, your screen is on.
Great. Thank you. Good. Once again, I welcome you and I say it's great to be here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are looking at remote learning and school sustainability. We have come to know that we are locked down, but we need to keep working. We need to keep doing something so that our children can get learning and parents can know that our school is on. Not doing anything is bad. Not doing anything is telling the parent that we are not ready. And I got this post by D. He said, entrepreneurs have a mindset that sees the possibility rather than problems created by change. Entrepreneurs, people who are into business, who dive into incredible arts, launching into innovations and creativity. They try to see possibilities even in the face of problem, and that is exactly where we are now. COVID-19 has come in with a serious change, but as entrepreneurs, we should see beyond the situation that is on ground and begin to envisage the possibilities that this COVID-19 has brought, on our plate. And that is why we are also here, and we keep coming out with something to talk about. No school fees, no exams, more online learning, students at home, parents opting out of remote learning, teachers engaging in home service, schools lowering their banners, COVID-19 still looming, and the easing of lockdown unknown. What a mess. This probably is what goes on in your mind. Sure, it's real, and there is no denying of it. But what should we be doing next is the main thing. And there is this question, I got this question in one of the webinars I attended, and it says, sir, it's obvious that COVID-19 has demoralized the educational sector and economy. There will be more dropout of pupils and students from school, and most teachers will lose their jobs. How can the government bridge the gap on both parties? This was a question by Fidelis Azuramo at one of the webinars, and this is real. So many things are happening. COVID-19 has come in, has caused a lot of obstruction, even as much as a lot of public schools are doing what they can. There are still a large number of children that are on the street that are not doing anything. And a large number of these children are also being abused. So what are we doing? What should we be on? So what is the fate of private schools? People are responding courageously, so people are responding to this situation courageously. Schools are still online. Some parents pulled out. Some are working from home. Some have resumed work. Others have lost their jobs, and teachers are creating new ways of doing their jobs, not to mention the children themselves who are stuck inside the house without their friends. This is what this situation is presented before us. Everybody is going through. Somehow we will get through this. When we do, how will things look when school starts again? That's a big question. We will get through. And when eventually we get out of this situation, how will it look for us? What will happen to our schools? What will happen, to everybody? The reality here are some things to note and opportunities that are available. Coronavirus-related disruption has given investors, educators, time to reevaluate the sector. this pandemic has given us an opportunity to do a re-evaluation of our sector. Technology has stepped into the crack, and we continue to play a key role in educating the future generations. In a world where knowledge is a mouse click away, the role of school and the role of educators must change too. At this point, children have access to devices, and to the topic that is to be discussed, they could naturally on their own go on Google and get materials. And so for us as school and as educators, we must ensure that we are moving with the trend. We are changing. We are not just static and doing things the way we used to do it. This is reality. How can school business be sustained? What is sustainability? Sustainable is an adjective for something that is able to be sustained, that is something that is bearable and capable of being continued at a certain level. To be sustainable is to be bearable and to be able to keep on, keep existing, keep life on, even when all odds, even when it looks like all things are not favorable. Sustainability, therefore, can be seen as the process or processes by which something is kept at a certain level of existence. To be sustainable is for something to be kept at a certain level. So for our businesses, for our schools to be sustainable, there is a certain level that we must keep it. There's a certain level that we must operate. And here it says you have social, environment, economic, you have to be bearable, equitable, viable. You have to continuously be viable. We have to ensure that the environment we are engaging, environment, we have to ensure that our social life and social activities are on, and economy too. We can't leave that. So this is what makes us to be sustainable. Business sustainability. Business sustainability is managing the triple bottom line. There's a triple bottom line in sustainability of business. It's a process by which businesses manage their financial, the social, and environmental risk, obligations, and opportunity. These three impacts are sometimes referred to as people, planet, and profit. So for a sustainable business, for a business to be sustainable, you must be able to manage people, manage the planet, that's the earth, the environment, and the profit, that's the finance. This element of business sustainability, environmental, that's the planet, which is the management of the physical environment, support of the living within ecological units, protection of natural resources, and the social people, occupational health, safety, fast community investment, social diversity, and interaction. Then economic, that's profit and financial, long-term economic growth without impacting negatively to the other aspect. So all of these are what makes up the sustainability. Business sustainability involves environmental, social, and economic. What are the principles of business sustainability? Business sustainability is a business model. It's business models and managerial decisions that is grounded in financial, environmental, and social concern. Any business that will be sustainable in time of crisis must be such that follow this principle, of financial, environmental, and social concern. So sustainable businesses will in practice create long-term financial value, and look at what is on, what is coming, and how well you can begin to manage whatever resources that you have. Two, they must know how their actions affect the environment and actively work to reduce their impact. In terms of environment, a sustainable business is one that takes cognizance of the environment, the community, the people around, so that, because you can't continue to do things to the detriment of the environment and the feel that your business will be sustained. Three, care about their employees, their customers, and community, and work to make positive social change. So three principles that business sustainability, advises and expects every business to is: you have to create a long-term financial value. You have to know how to your actions does not affect the environment, and how to take care of people around you. What can you do in your community, even in this lockdown? Yes, we are here, but your community, they're looking up to you. They know there is a school in that environment where they are. What are you doing? How are you getting them on? How are you giving them hope, even in the face of hopelessness? sustainable business. Sustainable businesses think long term. They develop strong relationship with employees and members of the community. This includes engaging employees productively by building connections, while boosting their morale and innovating great ideas that accommodate parents and impart their children. So as a business that want to sustain even in this crisis, it's important for us to ensure that we build connection. We ensure that governance in our business is one that has a human face, environment, economy, and social interaction. Business sustainability roadmap. There is a first destination. It says commitment, management commitment to sustainability. Every member of the school community, especially the management team, must be committed to sustainability, must agree that our business will scale. It's not that one person will say, hey, where are we going to? No, we must all agree, come to terms with the fact that we will pass through this stage and we will come out better. 2, implementation. We must implement eco-efficiency and supporting system. That is the system that supports the environment, the system that take cognizance of the old setting in where the school is existing. Number 3, destination, embedding sustainability. Sustainability considered as business as usual, meaning you must know that even at time you are still in business. Even when it looks as if nothing is happening, it looks as if cash is not exchanging hands as it used to be, you must know that here I am seeing business, come what may. Destination 4, value creation. This is the value creation, realization of business value from sustainable practices. So this business must continuously create value, even at a time like this. Yes, no money. Yes, there are a lot of things we can do without money. At this point, we must ensure that we keep our business, on that part of sustainability. Sustainable strategies. What strategies can we adopt to ensure that our businesses can sustain? Business strategic CSR. Business corporate social responsibility is a strategy that integrates the policies and practices that the business want to create value on their triple bottom line. That's the people, the planet, and profit. How are you relating with the people, the earth, the planet, the environment, and the profit? They want their presence to be felt wherever they are. Now, yes, no money, but how do you do CSR when there is no money? There are other things you can do. You have water in your school. Can you get a plumber to connect that water out? You have people in that community that do not have water, and we have been told that we need a lot of water to wash hands, to do a lot of stuff. You can do a CSR, in that community with piping out that water and making it available. Do you know you can also make available nose mask to the to residents around your school area? You can get engaged in a lot of things. This is going to continuously put your business in the mind of people. And when people come around and are sourcing for school in the environment, they are good to tell you, yes, we have a school in that place. 2, digital workspace. The workspace can also be organized in a sustainable way. For instance, businesses can adopt new technologies by taking advantage of the COVID-19 pandemic situation to go paperless and provide conditions and training for employees to take their skills to the next level. There are a lot of hubs to help out in this. Even while we are not physically in school. I know that, yes, because there is an ease on lockdown, we still get to go to school. But do you know that your administrative and your front desk can also move online? You can source and get connected with would-be parents online. Yes, the teachers are already working online. They are teaching online. They are communicating online. Yes, we can get to do more of this online. So we need to ensure that our workplace is digitalized. Collaboration. Effective collaboration is the key to accelerating sustainability across a value chain or an industry. What are we talking about? To create opportunities to partner with other schools in terms of resource sharing, infrastructure sharing, manpower sharing, resource maintenance, training. At this point, Yes, there's no money, and we still get to do a lot of things. Can you look around and see schools in your vicinity and see what you can do together? How can you manage resources, the facility I have? When eventually the lockdown is eased, will you be able to accommodate all my children? Yes, I know there is a staggered resumption, there's a staggered classroom, there is a short time to spend in school. There's so much that, but you can still look at what. And then now, I need a lot of teachers too, and there is this school close by. If I can only accommodate certain number of teachers, can I collaborate with a school around and use the manpower? Work out a timetable, work out a scheme, and see how this person gets in here, and also be able to move on here. We need to be each other's brother's keeper. Big brands need to share their practices and solve mutual sustainability problem. That was one professional said. Big brand, there are big schools who are not feeling this heat too much. This is a good time for them to embrace, practice, to embrace collaboration with the younger school. There is no joy in you seeing the school close by, you close down, because all the children in that community will never attend your school. They are likely not able to afford your school fees. Are you not meaning that they should not go to school? No, there is a way you can, in what you do, you can collaborate with even that young school, that small school around you, and still be able to ensure that the children who can go to that school still have opportunity of going. If other organizations see no value in collaborating and they are buying from the same suppliers as us, how can we advance the sustainability agenda? Yes, there are a lot of people. We have publishers, we have suppliers, vendors, and the rest of this. Can we collaborate? But I've come to realize in this lockdown that when you order a good and you have a large number, you have quantity, your quantity is high, the price is reduced. So you can collaborate with that young school. Do you need this facility? Like we need disinfectant, we need a lot of sanitizer. We need so much. We can collaborate and buy in bulk. We can buy in bulk as association, as group of schools in the same community, so that you can be able to, forge on now and even after lockdown. All of this is to take us even now and after lockdown. And then number 4, we have to plan blended learning post-COVID. Of a fact, there is no way school is going to go back to normal. There is no way we are going to have our usual 8 to 3. There is no way we are going to have more than 20 students in class, even depending on the size of your classroom. Schools will be left, with no option than adjusting and adapting their content to suit the present situation by blending the online with brick and mortar learning when schools resume. There will be some certain time you probably will not be able to do. The commissioner was talking yesterday in a group when she was facilitating that it may not be more than 4 to 5 hours that children will be able to do in school. They don't want to hold them for a very long time. And if that happens, there is no way you'll be able to finish what you are scheduled for that day with that short time. And so when you do what you can in school, you need to take the next levels of training, online. And that's where you blend your learning. And so when you begin to prepare your material, you are preparing it in such a way that you are making room for that. And interestingly, also here, it's also interesting to note that homeschooling will be on the high level, will be high demand. And I think schools should start looking into that. You need to begin to talk with your parents about homeschooling. What does that do? They can, because a lot of them will release their children when school resumes. How do you do? Keep your children at home. Yes, we enter into an agreement. Of course, the fee is going to be reduced. You have materials that you pick up for your child, and then when we're online, your child can be able to join. All of these are the options that we have, because this year, even when school resumes by September, I know some parents who will not allow their children to step into school this year. So we must ensure that we also start talking to parents about what is called homeschooling. What are the options of homeschooling? What are the styles? And what can be adopted, and the school serving, as a guide, even in the implementation. Number 5, you must put policies in place, define your brand, and take a stand. Your school is not for everybody, and you can't serve everybody. You must take that stand. You listen. You must define your population, your customer. Who are you serving? What is the category of people you are serving? And then look at your environment. You need to look at what is happening in your environment. Listen, you may choose to say, my school will be at this level, and this is what fee I am going to charge. And then you know that in that environment, not so many people in that environment will be able to accommodate that or afford that, then that means you are ready to get your student outside. Or you say now, with the situation, a lot of school buses wouldn't be running. And so it's important for school, it's business sense for us now to begin to look at what is prevalent in our environment. What is a class of people that are in our environment? What is, the economic status? Is either you take your school fees high and getting your children from outside, or you bring it low to be able to accommodate. But I also tell you, this is also the time for you to know that you can't serve everybody. If you have anyone who is going first and second term, or second term, that person is likely not be able to balance that. And by the time school resumes, yes, it's also known that third time is already, erased, is overridden by the situation. When school resumes, how many parents now will be able to? Now, the exam class want to resume. Do you know the interesting thing? The fee for exam class has already been collected, because it's a practice, it's a policy in most schools that the fee for SS3 is added together and divided into two, first and second time. So even when they resume, they are not paying anything. So it is the service for them to write the exam. So it's important for us to get all of these things, know what your population and who you serve. Number 6, think and act differently. Be positive-minded and associate with like mind. Solve problems and meet needs. So the shared value opportunity is that you do well, you make money, but you do good, you solve social and environmental problems. So what do you want to do? You just want to do well and make money, or you want to do good and be a solution to the environment? You need to think and act differently. This is not about a time for you to begin to be pessimistic and negative minded. You need to be positive minded and begin to look at what you can do to be of help even to the community where you are. Number 7, make your brand visible. Take your school online, interact with your website, keep reviewing and updating your plan. Your brand expects you. You are supposed to build trust, build value. Let everybody be able to identify value with what your brand is, even online. Go online. You can't listen. Nobody is moving around for schools any longer, but you need to go online. Open accounts for your schools on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere, and link up with people. Keep coming up with something so that they know that you are there. Leverage on technology. You need to plug yourself to technology for you to move on. Physical school is on, is down. It is dangerous not to engage children, in learning. Continuous learning, you must be on. You have to keep engaging the learners so that the parents, we know that we mean good and we know what we are doing. So you plug yourself to technology. What technologies are out there? What apps are out there? How many of them are of value to you? And how can they be of help to you? Number 9, negotiation and persuasion will happen. We have to be flexible and not be rigid. Be flexible to accommodate negotiation, but draw your invisible bottom line for check and balances. Yes, you're coming in, this is your fee. And in your fee, you can say, this is the lowest that you can do in terms of discount. And so you must have that at the back of your mind. If anybody is coming in and is asking you for a discount that is lower than your bottom level, know that such a person cannot afford your school fee. And because if you do that once, if you go down lower than your bottom line once, you will keep going, and such a parent will keep owing you. You have to adapt persuasion where necessary, but do not beg. There may be need for you to convince parents, oh, this is what we are doing, ma. It is this, or we can get this, this can be done, ma. We can get materials across, but do not beg. Let go of those who cannot meet your bottom line benchmark. It's important, it's a hard one, but you need to, if you want to, be sustainable. Because now listen, you can't have 100 students in your school and only 20 of them are paying school fees. So you are running 100 children on 20 school fees. That won't pay. So it is better for you to have the 20, and when you have the 20, you have a reduced expenses, and then you can manage that, or you go at large to the 80 and know that your school fees is at the barest minimum that they can afford. It's a decision for us to make. You have to reevaluate your staff. It's a new normal. You need to set a new goal for your business. This will help you to take a closer look at your workforce and let go of those that cannot fit into the new plan. Tap into other skills of your staff. You need to do an evaluation. You need to check. Now listen, you don't have to please be very thorough and be sincere. No matter what anybody has done before, at a time like this, you're telling them this is what Now look at them. How many of them will fit into this new normal in terms of the skill, in terms of their mental health, in terms of their personality, in terms of their readiness? You need to check. And those of them who are not, it's a good time for you to, to allow them to go. They will find a place. And then as many, look into your staff and see other skills that they have. And these other skills can also support you and will reduce you having a large number of workforce. So you can have 1, 2, 3 of them doubling up to do 1 or 2 other 3 things. And then, of course, you are ready to also compensate them for that. And build positive relation with your parent. Positive relationship require trust, transparency, mutual respect, and effective communication. You must continue to communicate. You must, listen, when you're talking to your parents, you must ensure that whatever you are saying, you mean what you are saying. You must be transparent enough and let them know exactly what is happening. You must show respect. And this means there must be two-way communication. You must listen to them. You must respond to their need. And then together find, creative solutions to solve problems. You must invent other businesses. Have multiple streams of income. Diversify, but be sure the new business you're investing. Don't just enter into any business because somebody says, oh, this business and this is what they do here. Do you know? You must take a time to study. Go for training to understand the new business if you need to do it. Don't just dive into any business. Don't just invest into any business. Don't just go into any business if you don't have the wherewithal. You must know what you are going into so that you don't have a double jeopardy. Run your school on budget because it is a business. Budget. Let there be budget for everything and stay within your budget. If you can't meet up a particular assignment at a time, postpone it and then you'll be able to do that later. You also practice grit. Grit is the ability to stay focused, determined, and optimistic in the face of challenges. You can't give up. It's too late for you to give up. You have come this far. Let's see how we go. Go through with it. It is not over until it is over. Grit is you have gut, you have resilience, you also use initiative, and you are tenacious. So this is a time for you to bring all of this to play and not just follow by. Listen, obstacles will come, challenges will come, but it's not enough for you, to just fall off and as if nothing else can happen. A lot of things can happen. That your school is good enough. Look to that your school and see that something good can come out of it. Ensure that you do your SWOT analysis. Look at your strength. Look at your weaknesses. Look at the opportunities that you have. Look at the threats that are facing you. And then you know how to begin to work around them. Sell your products and services. How do you sell your product to anyone? Don't sell logic to anybody at the time. Nobody is looking for logic now. Sell emotions and desires. Push emotional triggers and find out where it hurts. Don't let your prospect lead the conversation. When you are in conversation with your prospective client or your prospective parent, you are prepared yourself. You have enough materials of how you want to sell. I remember so many years back when I was working, where parents came in and I took them around and she was saying, you don't have this. And I began to say, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. I began to list all that I have, to counter what she's asking that do not have this. So you must ensure that you lead the conversation when you are talking with your prospective, parent. Use powerful words and build massive certainty inside the customer's mind. Words that will touch their heart, that they know exactly, that you care and you know what you're talking about. Use emotions in marketing. Emotions market. What does that mean? When you are talking to them on the phone, they are not seeing you, but your voice can readily tell them that you are smiling, you are happy talking to them. Ensure that when they share anything with you, show empathy, and be there, to support. And when they come out with reasons, be ready to also be able to help them to see, why they need to do things, in the way that you want them to do it. Then you can also, how do you sell also? You can practice opening to make a connection with your customer. Practice your opening. When you're starting conversation with your customer, start and let them be able to connect with them. Before you can convince others, you have to be convinced by the product yourself, what you are selling. Are you convinced it will do the job? So when you are setting people to meet people, when you have this, you must have officers that are communicating. Don't just allow any pessimistic person to be the one to be your front desk, even online, to be the person talking to your client. Whosoever that is talking to your client must be such one that is convinced about the product and service that you are rendering. keep the customers intrigued and spark their interest. Get them excited about what you're talking about. Set your vision of more positive future, and then use your emotion. Learn how to read your client's response correctly. And thank you so much for the time to be able to do this. And you're welcome once again. Thank you.
Wow. That was a fully loaded session. I can say we can pack our bags and go. Sadio Kogbe, you have finished the training now.
Wow.
Yet, I still know that there is still more to chew. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sadio Kogbe, for those wonderful nuggets. Just like she said, she made mention of what the Commissioner of Education said, Mrs. Florish-Gate Adefisayo. She mentioned it clearly that it's not going to be as usual. There is definitely going to be a new normal. Classes are not going to be that long. So then that means we need to now diversify. Mr. Adikobe, I don't know where you can check if Mr. Jude is online. He's on the stage.
Not yet.
Now, she mentioned that, okay, we need to focus on 3 core things. She mentioned safety, she mentioned learning, of course, sustainability. And we are taking the 2 aspects of it. We've talked about safety before in our previous webinars. Now, what Mr. Adikobe has given us as introduction is referring to how our children are going to learn effectively. Of course, how do you get those children? In fact, those ones that you even have, how do you keep them? Not to talk of reaching out to the prospective parents by your online presence. So it is a lot of work to do. This is not time to sit and watch drama happening online. School owners, educators, you need to step up your game and come into the place of reality. And that is why we have put up this webinar, to make sure that every one of us is equipped with the knowledge and skills and what without for us to cope with this situation. While we await the coming online of Mr. Jude, I think I will engage Mr. Bassi.
Okay.
Mr. Bassi is online. Welcome, Mr. Bassi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olanio.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, I think we can hear you very well. Mr. Bassi Udwak, I'm going to read his brief profile to us so that we can get acclimatized to his personality. Mr. Bassi, I only have a profile of his venture, that is what he does, is into virtual reality. Am I right, Mr. Bassi?
You're correct, sir.
Thank you. So with all the introductory speech that Mrs. Adekogbe has put into place, vis-a-vis school continuous learning and sustainability, what has Nexcel to do? What is the relevance of Nexcel into this space?
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Adekogbe, and thank you, Mr. Olanio. And let me also say that it's a great privilege to join all the distinguished and talented minds that I've seen on the panelists this morning, or I think already in the afternoon, this afternoon, to share thoughts on how we can move things forward, especially in the educational space. My name is Udwak Bassi. I'm the Chief Experience Officer of Nexcel Marketing. I know you tried to do an intro, but let me just do something so as to help people understand who I am,
exactly.
What we do.
I didn't have your profile here.
Yeah, that's so very important. So I'll just summarize that Nexcel Marketing, in the last 4 or 5 years, we've been involved deeply in virtual reality applications. We started out in virtual reality, deploying gaming machines across shopping malls, pan-Nigeria, and I'm sure a lot of our participants this morning must have encountered the VR Experiences brand in shopping malls, in Lagos and all over the country. And of course, clearly for us, virtual reality, we know is beyond gaming, and it finds application in education, it finds application in all spheres of human endeavor, even in manufacturing, in training, and in delivering immersive experience. And so in the educational space, we've come in boldly, delivering solutions that will enable schools, especially in this time, to do better, leveraging on technology. And I mean, just to digress a bit, we are doing what we are doing now, leveraging on technology. I'm able to see you, you're able to see me wherever I am, and we're able to interact. And then this, what we're doing today could have required a lot of logistical costs, but we're able to deliver it seamlessly, leveraging on technology. And like Mrs. Adegogbe has already done a good and fantastic job to tell us that, look, the new normal is here, and there's no old normal to go back to. What that means is that businesses need to adapt. Businesses need to reinvent themselves. It's unfortunate that everything that has happened now caught everybody unawares. And it's not just restricted to the educational space, it's actually across industries. And so in adapting, it also means that we'll have to look at how to do things differently. And if anybody says that, oh, I'm still going to be doing brick and mortar, I'm still going to come back to school and deliver my learning solutions the same way I've been doing it before and expect the same buy-in, that person should be re-examined, because the truth of the matter is this, it's only the schools and educators that are retooling that will be relevant in the new normal. So you asked a direct question. So what is Nextel doing to contribute to this navigation? What we have done is essentially to bring technology such as augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality to deliver immersive learning solutions. I don't know how many minutes I have. I probably would like to share my screen. I don't even have the permission of our chief host.
You have 3 more minutes, sir. We will still come back to you.
I will not be able to do that. Okay, exactly. I will not be able to do that. So, yes, so what basically is that, what I would like to emphasize is that in the coming months post-COVID, we're going to be seeing blended learning, all right? Blended learning where you will be having in-person learning, you have online learning, and you also have, you know, solutions that will have to deliver those kind of learning outcomes that everybody would like to see. Because just like Mrs. Adegogbe said, we're not very sure that parents will be very comfortable to allow their children to return back to school. So there will be need for schools to, you know, invest in technologies that will enable them to deliver blended learning, all right? Online, in person, or offline, still leveraging on technology. And so virtual reality provides solutions in that space that is able to deliver the same immersive learning that we would have done in the chalk and talk method, in which the teacher is directly involved in the classroom. And so essentially, therefore, we are offering solutions whether that is flexible enough to be used at home or in school, especially using virtual reality. I know a lot of us are familiar with this, something like this. Now, we've delivered this is called the Edu Pro headset. The Edu Pro headset is the first and only headset that has been specially created to be used for educational purpose. This works offline, doesn't even require an internet connection for this to work at all. And so it is available now in Nigeria, and we'll be deploying this massively and at scale. Now, where students cannot even afford to have these headsets, we've also been able to deploy our virtual reality content that is fully aligned with the Nigerian educational curriculum, as well as all other curriculum all over the world, in such a way that if a student has a Chromebook or a laptop, wherever he is in the world, he's able to have access to the same content at a fraction of the cost. So maybe I'll just leave it at this time. I think one of the things I need to do is to discipline myself to the time I've been given. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bassi, for that introductory presentation about your product, Edu Pro headset. Wonderful. And I also gathered that it can work offline, which will be a solution for parents, especially homeschooling. If
exactly.
if schools are opting for homeschooling to assist parents who would not want their children back to school, like Ronke Posh. Welcome, Mrs. Ronke. Mrs. Adeniji. She has stood her ground since the beginning of this lockdown that our child is not going back anytime soon. So that is it. So I want to also welcome on board. We have Mr. Dimeji. We still come back to you, sir. Mr. Kehinde Falana, we still come back to you. But we have the first guest speaker of the day, Prophet. They call him Prophet, technology prophet. I usually call him the Bill Gates of our time in Nigeria. Wow. Yeah. So Mr. Jude is here. He's a consultant, an educator, a filmmaker in Lagos. Yeah, he's a lead consultant at EduJet, a platform. You know, he has so many skills. You know, Mr. Jude has been assisting in various platform webinars, empowering people in simple tricks on technology.
Thank you so much.
We are so much happy to have you. Yeah, Mr. Jude, we can hear you. I was still trying to read your robust profile when you interjected. Yeah. Anyway, I will allow you in, sir. Welcome on board, sir. Hey. We can hear you loud and clear. Hello, Mr. Jude, are you with us? I can hear you loud and clear. Can you shoot?
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Olaniyan. Thank you, Mrs. Dijoluwa Adekogbe. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead, sir.
So thank you, Mr. Joel. Thank you so much. Sister Ronke Posh, thank you. The tech prophet is here now. So quickly, I'll talk about free learning management system. You know, most schools have budget for learning management system, and they have budget for what they want to do with technology, right? And most times it's based on school fees and all that. So we have both free and paid platforms. We have both free and paid platforms. So I'll be just focusing on the free platforms available to parents, to schools, and to teachers, and some of the advantages as much as possible. I would like to share my screen. Can I? Yeah, I'd like to share my screen.
Yes, you can.
Please show you. Okay. Yeah, I'll share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. I'll start with the unpopular ones. We have the simple virtual learning environment. It allows tests, tasks, courses, and it also allows you monetize your courses or your content. So if you are creating a course for students and you want to sell it, you can sell it. It also allows virtual meeting through Zoom, Big Blue Button, and it also records. And are you seeing my screen?
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay. Hello. Are you seeing my screen?
Not yet.
Hello.
You can go ahead, sir. If the screen sharing is not working, you can go ahead,
please.
We are not seeing it. When we see it, we'll let you know. But you can go ahead.
It's coming up.
I think it's probably.
So, Mr. Adekobe, can you shoot his screen? Can you shoot his screen so that you can occupy the whole space?
Okay. Okay, please, you can send it to me so that I can help you to.
Mr. Jude is offline already. Mr. Jude, are you still here?
He's back. Okay.
Yes.
I'll add him.
Can you see my screen, please? If you can see.
Not yet.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Can you share it with me on the WhatsApp so that I can help you to project it?
Okay. Let me. Okay. It's just I'm running through some websites. So let me.
Hello, Mr. Jude. The prophet.
Even Mrs. Adekogbe is off.
Okay. Mr. Joel, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So if you can send your slide to us, we will help you project it, sir. If you're having challenges projecting, send it to me on WhatsApp. I will do that.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that. First we have the. But you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Okay. First, we have the simple VLE. That's a virtual learning environment. It works. It's free anyway, but you can sell your courses. You know, most of these other free platforms, you can't sell courses immediately there. But this has a payment plan, and it's called Simple Virtual Learning Environment. It has monthly payment and it also has yearly payment, and I think it's a bit among the cheapest you can find there, because you can pay less than $100 for a year and you can sell your courses, especially for what they call it, especially for people who run programs online. So it's a good platform. Next is our popular one, Google Classroom. Next is Google Classroom. It makes it possible for you to host several classrooms by teachers, and it works with almost all Google products. And it allows you to attach your Google Drive so that you can share your content easily. So you don't need to start uploading always. So you can upload your content ahead of time and schedule your classes while your children are yet to come to class. So you can schedule your classes ahead of time. So that's for Google Classroom, and it's popular. At least almost everybody now uses Google Classroom. And the next one is Edmodo. I'll compare Edmodo and Google Classroom. Edmodo behaves or has similar features with Google Classroom, but Edmodo is more like a social platform. It's like your Facebook, but your Facebook that has only students, teachers, and parents in that platform. So you don't have any other person aside students, parents, and teachers. So Edmodo, the advantage it has over Google Classroom is Edmodo allows students to come into class just by using codes. Google Classroom, you must have an email to join any Google Classroom lesson. So you must have an email, which is a disadvantage for preschoolers, because we don't expect preschoolers to be using email at this point, or even primary school students. So Edmodo allows invitation of students just by their email, just by their code, while Google Classroom rely on email, and it must be a Gmail. You can't use any other email aside Gmail to go into Google Classroom. So that's the cons of using Google Classroom. But for Edmodo, you can actually also manage your teachers, you can manage your students, you can generate reports or analytics on your Edmodo class. So it's kind of a bit more versatile compared to what Google Classroom offers. The next one is Schoology. Schoology looks more like Edmodo, but it has a price tag. So if you are using the free version, you can use it for you will not enjoy all the features that is available. So but it's still free for schools. And if you are trying to harmonize your operations in terms of getting to monitor teachers and all that, you would need to pay for Schoology, especially if you want to deploy it as a large scale school. So you have to pay for it. Next one is you to create your classroom on the cloud. So it has its own, it has a what they call it, an offline version, which means you have to create your website and build your platform around the module themes. But if you are operating it online, it restricts the basic free version. It allows only 50 users. So the more you pay, the more users you're allowed to use in your module class. That's but module is kind of a standard for most learning management system we have around. It's a standard for most learning management system that we see around. I'll send my screen capture to Mr. Joel so that he can share it. Okay. Okay, that's simple view, Mr. Joel. If you can get it early, fine. I'll share on Edmodo. Okay. Can you see it, Mr. Joel?
Okay, yes. I have one of the screenshots here. Go ahead, continue sharing. You can go ahead, sir.
So that's simple virtual learning environment, which is kind of one of the cheapest and has features for teachers to sell or content creators to sell their courses. So it's a very good platform, and it actually doesn't charge more for compared to some other free to premium learning management system. It doesn't charge much. So okay. That's for simple VL. Then we have a model. Then we have
you mentioned Google Classroom.
Yes. Okay, I've shared that model. So the next is Google Classroom. The next is Google Classroom. And I compared Edmodo and Google Classroom that Edmodo has better facility for managing teachers compared to Google Classroom. Google Classroom allows just teachers to manage their classes, but it doesn't allow management to manage teachers. And that is important when you're running your virtual classroom. Management should be able to see what teachers are doing and also monitor what teachers are doing. So that's an advantage Edmodo has over Google Classroom. But aside that, Edmodo also integrates some of Google Classroom features like Google Drive and all that. So you could share your lesson on Google Drive using Edmodo too. So the next one is Module. Module has both the online and offline version, so you can actually create customized learning management system from Module using the offline version. So it works like WordPress. If you know WordPress, it works like WordPress, and it gives tons of features to add plugins and themes, and also customize the personal identity of your learning management system. And the last one, there's Blackboard. Blackboard is still popular, though it has the free version is so limited that you need to really purchase it to enjoy the benefits of using Blackboard. So it's still a popular learning management system for K-12 schools, or schools that manages nursery, primary, and secondary students. And it contains tons of features like Edmodo, and it also allows some certain level of customization if you are paying for the premium version. So most of them, they have the free and they have the premium version of their learning management system. So these are the popular top 5 learning management that are free for every school that is under a tight budget, or every teacher that is trying to reach out to their students online. And the good thing about it, they have this social feel, which means you can chat on them, you can chat on them, you can grade on them, you can actually accept different file types from them. Students can submit Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, any kind of document, and even files in terms of videos, audio, and pictures, if you want to use them as way of rating your students' work or assignments. So they are very capable of doing it, but they just have different way of operation and different way of assessing the general learning of your students. So that's my presentation for today. Mr. Joel, later on, please do share the photo slides. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jude. That was an interesting one. You took us through a few of these learning management systems that are affordable for schools that have a very, very tight budget.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jude. Let me recapitulate.
Yes.
We have the VLE platform. We have the Google Classroom. We have the Edmodo.
It's simple. It's simple VLE. Simple VLE.
Okay, the simple VLE. Okay. And then you talked about, did you mention Moodle, right? And Blackboard.
Yes, Moodle. Yes, Moodle.
Okay.
And Blackboard, yes.
Blackboard. So that's nice. Thank you. I think our audience, those that would like to try them on, they can visit those sites. I think you just add www.whateveissaidhere.com. It will go. But we will try and see if we can share the slide of the pictures Mr. Jude just sent to us, so that people can pick up from there. Thank you, Professor and Prophet and Bill Gates, Jude, for coming on board.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joel. Thank you so much for your invitation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So let me switch to our panelists. We've listened to Mr. Bassi, and let me switch to Mr. Dimeji. Mr. Dimeji, welcome on board.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. I can hear you clearly. Mr. Dimeji is a BSc holder in computer science, University of Ilorin, a full-stack software developer with over a decade of experience in ERP solution development for banks, universities, and government. He was a trainer at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, AITI, summer program. He has led various generation of software developers on over 20 software projects successfully. Mr. Dimeji has mastered how to influence a team for success. He has traveled to 12 countries, and various continents, including North America, Asia, Africa, and Europe. Fantastic. He has attended conferences, exhibitions, boot camps, including Tose. I know I met you first at Tose, so you didn't add that one here, but let me add it. He was a member of a paramilitary organization where he led a parade command for 7 years. Hey, you people should tread softly. Oh. We have a military man. Oh. So it's not just software solutions now. So we can also be sure of security. So he's a CEO and co-founder of Edverse, the leading edtech in the emerging markets for teachers and school leaders for over 500 schools. In fact, this morning you updated it by telling us that they are up to 600 now. That's great. Using the software to automate their operation to reduce educators' workload and enable collaboration between administrators, teachers, and parents to track the learning outcomes of students with tendency of falling behind. Recently, he was selected and invited among top 25 young founders in the world by Westerville Foundation in Berlin, Germany, where he attended the highly competitive Young Founders Program in April 2019. That is quite voluminous and a full profile. So, Mr. Dimeji, you are the co-founder of Edverse. We are happy to have you on board. What has Edverse to offer with regards to LMS and school sustainability? Please, I would like you to, weigh these two together. Look at the LMS, yes, what you are offering, but school sustainability. How do you help the school now to subscribe to your plan and at least to an affordable extent for them to thrive in their business at this time? Mr. Dimeji.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it is better we start with the end in mind. I'm very, very happy to be here today, and I've been listening to everybody. I've listened to Mr. Bassi, I've listened to Jude, I've listened to Mrs. Adekobe, and it's been very wonderful learning. I have some points here that I've actually noted down from what I've learned so far, so it's also an avenue for me to learn. I'm happy to lead a team that is solving a very important problem in education space, talking about being able to automate school operations. We don't approach EdTech as only a VLE or a school management system or admission software, but we approach school automation generally to see how what we do with paper can actually be automated. So that gives us the broad space and opportunity to innovate. So we try to automate operations from student enrollment, ensuring every school have a brand which is generated in their own name, with their logo, with their color and everything, to enroll students all the way into the class and so many things in between all the way to graduation. And we've been able to capture values, which some we call it features, but we see it from the point of benefit and value, because we've seen so many solutions in this space even before we came in officially in 2016, and we've been around as a product since 2011. So we've been able to see the education to be a space that we don't want to be a product that will replace the school or replace the teacher's work, but we want to be a product and service that will actually enable teachers to be able to deliver what they have, creating collaboration between teachers, administrators, parents on learners education. And this learners education I'm talking about are the K-12 students, talking about the kindergarten student, the primary school student, and secondary school students. So, and we've been called to also build the tertiary version of the portal, which in total we are serving 576 schools in Nigeria and Ghana. And the teachers on our platform take benefits in different areas, which I don't want to go too much into detail because of our time. Edverse is a product of about 11 years, so I might not be able to say everything that people can achieve on Edverse, because a module alone, it might take 1 hour for me to explain it. But the teachers on our platform use the system to create their content and then to share. The most important thing that we have done is to make sure that all the teachers, the parents, and the administrators, they are connected into one platform. And that one platform is making everything a school needs to be possible, so that teachers can create content and they can create their lessons. And we have artificial intelligence AI algorithm in place that run content for teachers to actually prepare their lesson in a quality manner and to share with the students. And teachers can also prepare exams and quizzes and tests, both theory and OBJ, to test learning outcome on the same platform. And the reporting of performance of students in quizzes and exam can sync into their grade book, which is the report, which we have now done in a way that schools can actually give us their own preference of customization, which we have done for many schools. So report of a particular school is different from another school, and based on the preference, curriculum, and how they want to actually present the report, we have been able to make our platform to adapt to this. And I can see Ronke Posh online. I mean, I'm sure she will connect with this very well. And also being able to personalize the homework projects and examination for students. Based on the strength of students, you can set different homework for different students, because sometimes you might need to isolate some certain students from others so that you can meet
Mr. Adimeji, are you still with us? Are you still connected?
Yes, I'm connected.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the statistics of the progress of students can help the teachers to know where and how to personalize learning and test for students. And we've done a bit of inclusion for the SEN teachers. Teachers that are taking students with special needs can also, in the system, isolate the students and test them differently, give them special projects and take care of them within the class. That's a bit of inclusion that we have done. And teachers can also share their videos, and we have the premium video player that will not pop up adverts from unknown sites for students. So all these are possible on our platform for the teachers. And talking about the school as a whole, because if you say VLE, learning management system or learning environment, there should be a part of the management control and then the financial aspect. Because Mr. Adekogbe talk about the financing of the school. So being able to do the platform in a way that once you enroll the student, you enroll the parents, you can set bills for them. Because now, because of COVID-19, we've seen schools opting for monthly payments and timely payment, different payment system. And this system allows the accountant of the school to set the bill, and then the accountant can determine which account is the money is going to. And we've had about 5 years relationship with InterSuite, the biggest payment processor in Nigeria. So it is easy for the online parent to pay. And also of recent, we've integrated with Star 737, which will be launching in a few days, so that even offline parent can actually use Star 737 with our own code to make payments. And also we are also trying to work with other banks to make payments possible. The admission, we've seen a lot of issues around admission processing. This same platform allows the parent to enroll their kids, and then for the school to take information of the students that have applied, move them to exam classes, take tests for them, and then enroll them into the class after the whole examination process. And also, we've been able to do this for medium, big, and small schools, and the cost is really, really affordable, because even at 250 naira per student per month, any school can be on this platform, so that you don't have to pay a very big amount of money for you to have a all-in-one solution in your school.
Wow.
And what we deploy along with our solution is the support. Because one of the things that come with technology deployment is that you have to be able to get direct support from the providers, because technology can misbehave. Sometimes you want some things to be done in a way that you want it different from other schools. We have all our engineers that can actually, our engineers work with schools to support them in different levels, first level, second level, and third level adjustment and support. So, and maybe that's why we've been able to get that number in Nigeria. So currently, we have been able, during the lockdown, we've been able to conduct exams for school. And on our platform, over 400,000 exams have been written between March and June, third term and second term exams. So if any school wants to prepare their end of term report, or they want to conduct any exam, I think Edvest is a platform that is doing this, because we've seen a lot of schools actually leaving some foreign solutions to come and write exam on our platform.
Great stuff. Great.
We have done it. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Dimeji, for that wonderful presentation about your services, LMS services. I'm very, very much happy about the one when you mentioned that the fact that parents could actually access the portal, enroll their children. So you have a complete online admission process. And it's also okay, and it also provides the opportunity for the accounting department to also play with their fingers with the figures there, in order to match the situation on ground, right?
Exactly, because it's one product, and we envision that one product should be able to serve all the needs, so that anybody that is defaulting in payment, you can just lock the person out, since it is the same system that is talking to one another. And parents will not have to cram different password, teachers will not have to cram different password, and students will not have to cram different password. It's just one product that is serving the entire school system.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Dimeji, for providing this solution. And I'm sure that it's going to be a good relevance for many school owners and educators here. In fact, Ronke Posh is even giving you a thumbs up already for being a proud ambassador of Edvest. Thank you, Mr. Dimeji.
Thank you very much, Ronke Posh.
Yeah. I'm going to move to the next panelist. That's Mr. Kende. Mr. Kende Falano. I know him very well. His company is one of the providers of services in one of the schools I work with. So, and they've done also quite well. Mr. Kende is a software analyst and a presentation manager at Edalaf Brothers. He's going to tell us what Edalaf Brothers is all about. So he's a team leader and a trainer at Edalaf Brothers company. Welcome, Mr. Kende. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Adekogbe, Mr. Alaniyan, thank you very much. Mr. Adekogbe, I really enjoyed your presentation. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, Mr. Bassi, thank you for that. That was really nice. Mr. Dimeji Falana, thank you very much for your presentation as well. I won't take much of your time, actually. I really want to just say some of the things that we do at Edalaf. And well, one of the things that actually makes this lockdown actually easy for us is that it's just like we at Edalaf Brothers already emphasized something like this for a long time. And we already had all this in plan on our system. The system was already made to actually work online such that parents, teachers, and students don't actually need to be in a physical school. That was actually one of our watchwords when we created Edalaf School Management Software. Edalaf School Management Software actually allows teachers, parents, students to actually be on one platform, and is being controlled directly from the central station. So there's an admin which is in the school that actually have access to everything. It controls what each and everyone should see on their platform, and on the end of each and every one, they can actually do what they are assigned to do. Now, as a teacher, you are actually expected to come there, set your notes, upload notes to students, set exams, class notes, assignments, so many things that actually go on in the school physical premises. So everything you do in the school, you can actually do them directly on the school management software. Which also, if you look at the parent aspect, the parent actually wants to see analysis on results. They want to know the bills. They want to be able to pay directly online. They don't need to come to the school to actually pay. All these things, if it's because Nigeria has actually, we're not really prepared for something like this. And it actually came as a surprise, knowing that everything can be locked down for so many months. And looking at it, nobody even knows how long this is going to take. So we already had a plan on ground, which we were looking at. Our plan was even Vision 2022, that we want every of our school to be able to run directly without having a physical school. We want, because we already knew that there are some schools popping up that don't have a physical building. They don't have a physical building, but they are running normal. So we already built the software. We're already working towards making the software to accommodate schools like that can actually run a virtual class and run schools without having anyone in a physical class. Now, well, many people would have been saying that's not possible, but let's say COVID-19 has actually come around and is making it very possible. Anyway, so now, yeah, so we're looking at it. We already built the system to actually accommodate all these pros and cons. Now, Edela school management software already has everything you should do in a school. Then on the student end, we already know that students actually love social media like that. That's why all these, like what Mr. Jude, all those packages that Mr. Jude mentioned earlier, he was mentioning those systems that actually run free. Yeah, I've actually worked on many of them as well, because as an analyst, I like exploring many softwares, and I've gone through some of those softwares to actually understand what they actually offer for us. Well, one of the things that I discovered is that they can't actually mimic the African way of schooling, especially the Nigerian style. And our Nigerian style actually looks very unique somehow. We are saying we're running something close to the UK style, but we are not really directly running that. So we already thought of all those things that we felt every school should have in their system. Updates came around, many upgrades that we did, and actually brought us to the level where we can actually have our school running directly immediately when the lockdown started. So now, immediately the lockdown started in April, for instance, our schools already started having their notes sent to to the student directly, and the parents directly on this platform. On the platform, the students can do their assignment directly. Exams already conducted directly on the system, directly from that lockdown. And we then graduated to having lectures online, where teachers actually see their students, and students see their teachers. They communicate directly. They set projects, they set class notes, and so many tests in the class. So we created it in such a way that everyone will be able to run the system without needing to I'm hearing feedback from someone. Sorry, the feedback is very loud. Can someone turn mute? Thank you. Sorry, ma. So I'm saying.
Sorry about that, Mr. Kende. Sorry.
Okay. So I was saying, so we are actually created it to actually accommodate all these change in systems. And the system keep changing even over the years. We've been seeing so many things changing in our education system, and software development has to actually go in line with the changes that comes in the society. And that is one of the things that actually makes this field unique from so many other fields that you have in the school, in the physical school. So we actually chose. Then we in 2015, to be precise, we discovered that learning has actually graduated from not only online but to hardware. Kids now carry phones around. They actually want to have their own tablets, their own phones, and they want to actually just be on their own learning or doing some other things. Now, this actually created a lot of issues because children are being exposed to so many things online. The security cannot be guaranteed. You cannot actually say that these kids are actually there doing what you expect them to be doing. And we came up with a system called Edelaf Tutor. And Edelaf Tutor is a tablet, actually, a 10-inch tablet, just like this. It's actually helps parents and schools to monitor what their kids are doing directly on devices, on their device. We actually made it in form of a tablet so that kids can actually, schools can actually have it customized. Like this is a customized one for Edelaf Tutor directly. Now there is one that is customized for each school. So any school that has it has their name printed at the back of the package like this, and also displayed on the screen once the device is being purchased. So every kid will have its own, and the system now is already tailored such a way that all the notes, all the classes, and all those textbooks has been compressed into the tablet, and kids can now go there in a fun way to learn. They can actually learn in a more fun way, like they want to learn in form of a game. They want to learn gamification of learning. Yeah, that is what we call it. So these things actually help their brain to actually open up. Now, all these things are being done on the tablet without them having the knowledge of their parents being the watchman or watchwoman, if that's what the word you want to use, because they don't know that the parents actually know the applications they have on their tablet.
Okay.
They don't know that the parent can actually control which applications they have. They don't know that the parents actually know when they put a SIM card or a memory card on the tablet. All those things are being sent to the parent directly, and the parent has a report of everything, including the school. So the school controls, and the parent also.
That's
Sir, I
fantastic.
didn't get that. Yes, so the
I said
parent
that's
actually
fantastic.
controls, and the student actually, most of them don't know. It has actually helped to actually track and also put many kids in line, because security is a very big issue in online schooling. It's a very, very big issue. I've heard of schools having their Zoom classes, and it's been hijacked by hackers, and they started posting pornography and things like that. There are classes that have been taken on Google Classroom, and at a point they started hacking it. So security is one of the key things that we take very serious. Security is very, very important. So, and
Okay.
that is
Thank
one
you,
of the
sir.
things that we put at the basis of our of all our software that we have been bringing out to schools. At least we have so many schools in Nigeria that are using the system and are running very fine. And one of the things that make us endeared to many of our customers is that we give the services that they actually want. We don't actually compare them to do what we are, because we believe that a Nigerian style that changes over time should also have a system that actually can change with the trending system that's on ground. So that is why, or that is how
Thank you,
Edelab
sir.
actually works. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very
Yes, sir.
much, Mr. Kende. You don't want
No
finish.
vex.
You want finish all the.
Sorry,
Uh-uh.
sir.
By the time you finish everything now, when the parents will
I will
start
still
calling you,
talk.
what will you say
You know
again?
I like talking. I like talking. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Of course, like I said, I have schools that are subscribed with Edalau and are still joining the service. In fact, one person commented, Becky Attack commended Edalau for being their coming to their rescue in this lockdown.
Thank you, sir.
So well done, Mr. Kende,
Yes.
for the good job you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Dimeki too. Now, last but not the least for today, I have the honor of welcoming Mr. Tosin. Mr. Tosin, are you on board?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon. We would like to see your face now. Mr. Tosin is an experienced IT solutions architect with deep expertise in technical business, of enterprise application and solution infrastructure, endeavors to ensure best fit solutions for customers while optimizing infrastructure performance and financial costs at the same time. He's been a data and AI engineer for over 15 years with additional experience in both development, OPS, and software engineering. He has managed teams of engineers at different levels. His experience as a database administrator has paved way for him in the education industry. He has multiple world-class certifications as well. He's a go-getter. I personally know Mr. Tosin, so he's a good brother and a friend. Very, very versatile and multitasking. Mr. Tosin, you are welcome on board.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today?
We are doing well.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mrs. Adekokbe. Good afternoon, Mr. Woodwork. And that was a very nice presentation on virtual reality. Exciting stuff.
Good afternoon.
What is your solution to, what is the relevance of your solution to the topic at hand today?
So my
looking at LMS and school sustainability.
So my solution is a very simple solution. It's just an LMS. Yes, we don't have all the features like a couple of other presenters have given, but our solution is a very, very simple and versatile solution. And it has a lot of integration. So I'll just do a brief presentation. I had a very long presentation, but I'll just go straight to the functions of this solution. Can I share my screen? Yes, I can. So as opposed to many, well, let me stand on existing protocols. Say I respect all the other people who have given their products. I appreciate them. They have done.
Hello, Mr. Tosin. Is Mr. Tosin still with us?
He was trying to share his screen. I don't know what happened. He just went off.
Well, we hope he will soon be back.
I'm sure he's trying to log in.
Okay.
Let's give him some.
I'm sure he's
Hello,
going to be back. Okay. I think he's coming back.
He's back.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying
Mr.
to share
Tosin, welcome back. If you have challenges sharing, you can continue with what you have, sir.
Okay, so I believe you can see it now. Just let me know if you can.
No, we can't see yet.
It says it's sharing my screen. Let's hope it's the network. Okay, I'll continue pending that time. So the name of the software is Master Study. It's Study Master, sorry. Study Master. It's a simple LMS that allows you to do all the things that my previous co-panelists have mentioned. That is, it is accessible for multiple devices. It allows you to personalize learning paths. It allows you to take tests, and it has various test formats. So for those who have used them, Google Forms or Microsoft Office Forms, we actually can run exams from this platform. So for many other people, their solution typically is just training, but we allow you to do testing and assessments on this LMS. In addition to that, we also allow you to be able to report, take attendance, who came for the call, who came for the class, and also we allow you to share your content in multiple formats. So allows you to share your content in multiple formats. One very beautiful thing about our LMS is that we have a school management solution that we have single sign-on with, so parents don't have to remember multiple passwords, and that is SAF SMS. So SAP FMS is a very, very versatile solution, and is also hosted in the cloud. So you don't need to start thinking about buying a server to host this software. Everything is on hosted for you. And of course, we also have a forum. So typically, what many people have is that they have a school management software, they have an LMS, and then they have WhatsApp. But in this whole platform, we also have a forum that is like Nairaland, where parents can also chat and discuss various issues without leaving the platform. And more importantly, for those who have been using Google Classroom, it's not a problem for us because our software allows you to integrate with Google Classroom. It allows you to integrate with Google Classroom. Moreover, our software also has a feature that allows you to do video conferencing online while you're also in that platform. So instead of you saying, okay, you now have to get a Zoom subscription, or you need to go and get a Microsoft Teams subscription, or you're doing WhatsApp video, our solution allows you to do all the things you want to do inside that platform. And if you don't want to spend money on Zoom, we also have our own custom software that is going to allow you to do video calls right inside the software, so you don't need to spend extra on licensing. Now, while we allow you to be able to do Google Classroom and other ones, is because we want you to be able to use what you have been using before. So if you've been, like my children's school today are using Google Classroom, and they also use Zoom. So for those kind of people, if I'm selling to them, they're not going to throw away all the homework that has been submitted on Google Classroom and throw away all their Zoom subscription. We can integrate, and then with time, they can move everything into this system. Now, I'll talk very quickly about SAP School Management System, which is our partner that we have integrated with seamlessly. That solution management system has everything embedded. That is, you can manage your school, you can do payments, you can do report sheets, you can do all sorts of things right inside that software. And it allows you to be able to deliver everything. So parents don't have to even wait for a report sheet, which means you can take exams online, and of course you can get the results online. Now, like we see in Nigeria today, all the public schools are on hold for obvious reasons because they never got ready for it. Like Mr. Jude was saying, or was it Mr. Kennedy that was saying it, that they were prepared for it. Now, every government school, even the biggest one, the UNILAGs, the OAUs, the UIs, the UNNs, the ABUs, they're all down just because they don't have an LMS platform. But guess what? That new child, NOUN, National Open University, is running. And why is that now running? Because they are LMS integrated. They are running on a platform.
And I'll see your slide. You can now see your slide,
yes.
Mr.
Thank you very much. So what this allows you to do is, like my previous facilitators have said, you don't have to go to the brick and mortar school again. People can make their payments online.
Hello, Mr. Tosin.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Mr. Tosin, are you still here?
I am very much with you. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, please?
You can go on, sir. You can go on now. Yeah, you had a break.
Did you lose me? Oh, okay. Sorry
yes,
about
at some
that.
point. Briefly, yeah.
Okay, so can I continue?
Yes, please. Just 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes, I'm almost done. So basically, that is how it works for us. We have an all-in-one solution that allows you to manage your school, manage your courses, especially now that people are at home. And we also have integration into a very robust schools management software. Pretty much that's it. I'm not going to take too much time telling you other things because the other facilitators have mentioned it, and there's no point repeating it. Thank you very much. And if you want to reach us, our portal is still work in progress, but you can check it at studymaster.com, and then if you want to reach us, this is our contact email address. You can reach us on this contact email address, and then we will be able to attend to your various inquiries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tosin, for coming on board and sharing your LMS solution. What is a bit probably unique about yours is I think Study Master and SAP SMS that you've been able to integrate. All of these are solutions for our schools, our educators in this space. Definitely the sky is very wide and a lot of birds can still fly there. So our audience are free to contact these vendors to make sure that they stay relevant in this space at this time, so that we are not locked down, even in the lockdown. So I want to say a big thank you again to Mr. Bassi, who shared on virtual reality, to Mr. Dimeji, who shared on Edverse platform, LMS, admission processing and accounting opportunities and facilities there. Also, Mr. Kainde, who talked on school management software, what teachers can do, what admin can do, what parents can do, and the restrictions for security reasons on students. And finally, Mr. Tosin, for sharing on master, that's study master. So I want to appreciate you all. I'm not sure if there is any question in here, so that directed to anyone. I can read the comment here. Edverse has engaged more schools during the pandemic period, especially with the beyond the class model that allows teachers share the class module and allows teachers share videos and host virtual class. Thank you, Mokenwem Emmanuel, for sharing that. Mr. Tosin, your email address wasn't visible, so can you post it on the YouTube channel? Somebody is asking that. A couple of comments. Another person, Famuwe Abiodun, talked about Edverse. Edverse is a school management software that has provided holistic and flexible solutions to problems for that's kindergarten to year 12 schools in Africa. Thank you, Famowe, for that. Who else? I think a few others have made comments. Edverse again from Popola Blessing. Edverse has been really great so far. Someone commented on Edalaf, and I read it the other time. So I want to thank our partners at this webinar, the panelists especially, Mr. Bassi, Mr. Kende, Mr. Dimeji, and Mr. Tosin. Thank you for sharing with us. Mrs. Adekogbe, can you come on to continue with the next phase of the show before we round up for the day? Hello, Ms. Adekogbe. I'm not sure I can hear you. Is it the same for others?
Thank you so much.
Okay, good. We can hear you now.
Yes. We are meant to have Mr. Eben here too, but I don't know, we've been having issues allowing him in. But that was brilliant. Well done, Mr. Olaniyan, and the great team of the software developers and approaches. I'm very sure that a lot of our participants have been putting in one word or the other, and they will definitely get back. Thank you for providing this very useful information at a very critical time like this. Well done. Mr. Jude Aseidu, well done for what you have done. For our panelists, I don't want to just start going to names because we see here to go to the next session. Thank you for making time to be here. You see, I may need to take you out of the studio, but the stream, so that we can have the next set of people. Now we will go into the second segment. Please, for questions, if you have questions, let your comments come on the chat box. We'll get our speakers back to attend to the questions. It's my pleasure now to invite. Let me see. I need to take some people out so that. Thank you. Mr. Rotimi, Mr. Itayo, Good to have you. Thank you for always being there. Prof. Eyitayo, you're welcome once again. I'm sure that we're going to have a great time together. So Mr. Eyitayo is here. We know Mr. Eyitayo is the CEO of Team Masters. He's a business strategist. He's an analyst, a researcher, a vision enhancer. As a matter of fact, like I said before, is somebody you can talk about anything that has to do with your business, and it will be there to be of assistance. Mr. Eyitayo, you are welcome. And then please take the stage. After that, we have some of our proprietors and proprietors. They are here to share experiences of their coping mechanism, in this lockdown. And God bless you all. Mr. Eyitayo, please have the stage.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Very well. Thank you. I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. And actually, I have a very interesting topic. You said school owners split in the lockdown.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll try to make this brief. I've listened to all the other sessions I got in, and I really like the energy in the room. I like the fact that we're engaging. A lot of us need to understand that we must never get tired of engagement. Quality engagement doesn't just lead to having expression, but it also enhances execution. So from expression to our engagement, we will continue to move towards the place of execution. So I have a very short time, and I'm going to speak about school owners' plight lockdown. And to make it a lot easier, I will share with you 6 points that can help anyone get to understand not just what school owners are going through, but make us understand what we need to move past. And I'll start by defining one way or the other what you would call plight. When you say plight sometimes is a word that signifies difficulty or probably a dangerous situation. And so when we talk about the school owner's plight in the lockdown, it will be proper for me to maybe adjust our mentality and philosophy a bit. Number one, do you know that we have more school owners than teachers right now? The first one. And a lot of people will be wondering, why did I say that? Because the ideal thing would be to say that you have more teachers than school owners. And I'll break my statement into fragments. Number one, schools are no longer within the lockdown in a context of a building. So we have numbers of people who own a building, who own an entity called a school. But school, as we know it now, is a reality of a place of knowledge, a platform for knowledge, an experience for knowledge exchange. So in every teacher is a school. In every teacher, there's a school owner. In every tutor, there's a school. In every tutor, there's a school owner. So everyone needs to understand that the plight of school owners in this context is not just those who own schools, in terms of the reference of schools, but also those who are in the business knowledge transfer. And there are dangerous things happening. I'll share with you 6 points. Number one, the most important plight. And when I say the most important plight, from my perspective, I believe that when I explain it, I see why I'm saying that. The most important plight, number one, is the plight of news. Is the plight of news. That's the situation news, the danger news. Most people have come to become wise. A lot of people have become knowledgeable based on referencing news. So the expertise a lot of people have during COVID-19 or during the pandemic or the lockdown period is being predicated on news. Please understand, news is a reference of season. There are certain things that are accurate now, but cannot hold consistent true. Do you understand? So if you actually look at it, one of the challenges that school owners will face, are facing, and must go through is the plight of news. Most of us are building strategy just premised on news. Mind you, most of the news out there, whether it's on social media, whether it's on TV, terrestrial TV, cable TV, a lot of news out there is founded on propaganda, on agenda. And as long as you're not in the seat of knowledge or seat of power, if you are not part of the power broker of such agenda, you must understand that news must be held with a pinch of salt. Your vision is stronger than the news out there. Your strategy and your team activation is stronger than the news out there. If you follow organizations that have disrupted their space, if you follow schools that have held true their values, they did not do it anchored on news. News can be there positively, news can be there negatively. But you must understand, as news are, you must also not lose the core of identity. And so a lot of people need to understand, you see, any little thing that happens today, federal government, everybody begins to go online, begins to circulate things, and then you ask yourself, in all our deliberations, in all our referencing, nobody says, according to my plan. Everybody says, according to news. Nobody says, according to our strategy. Everybody says, according to what they are saying. When what people are saying, when what people are sharing, when they take precedence over your own strategy. Nobody was there when you had the vision of the school. Nobody was there all through the trainings you had, first time, second time, for 4 years or 5 years. Nobody was there when you spoke with your consultant. Nobody was there when you did your business modeling, when you built a business model canvas to say that this is the kind of school that I'm setting up. Nobody was there when you crafted your curriculum, when you designed team, when you designed your path, and all of a sudden, a 15 minutes news, a social media hype, a perception, or even probably another school owner, all of a sudden becomes the Lord Almighty. It becomes your new school commandment. Why? Because it's a plight for a school owner. The news out there, as sometimes informational and relevant they can be, they do not override your core identity. I want to stand by that. Working as a growth management person, working as a strategist, I always understand that the first thing any organization would do, a right-thinking organization would do, is always go back to your print. Don't go to social media. Social media can help you stay informed. Please understand, being informed doesn't mean you have become altered. You can hear about what is happening in town, but I don't necessarily have to adopt and say this is my new reality. So the first plight, this is something we must guide ourselves and guard ourselves, is the plight of news. The plight of news. A lot of school owners, because they are looking at getting information, they are looking at getting answers, most of them will just directly look to news. And when a lot of people begin to do that, they close sense of reasoning. They close the place of questioning. They close a lot of options to explore. So the place of news is also a plight to school owners. Very quickly, number 2 is the plight of norms, N-O-R-M-S, the plight of norms. We all talk about so many things, and I'll give you examples for those of you that can hear this afternoon. You will notice that when we were on lockdown from the end of March into April, a lot of people began to say, oh, life in the new normal. The word new normal began to trend. A lot of people began to say, well, we are living in interesting times, which is true, and nobody has ever been expert of pandemic before. Nobody has ever seen COVID-19 before, so nobody's an expert. You know, that also happened. And while I was listening to different webinars, sometimes in 2 weeks, you have listened to about 20 to 30 sessions. I had to speak up at some point, and I spoke to some of my colleagues who could actually lend me their ear, say, there's something dangerous happening out there. We have forgotten that there's power with words, but also there must be pruning of words. So as people are saying new normal, it is good to say new normal. Let's ask ourselves, Who started the word new normal, right? Who started the word? A lot of people don't know the acronym of COVID. A lot of people don't know the acronym. Why? Because we are always victims of the norm. This is what everybody's saying. Nobody's an expert in coronavirus season. So everybody don't know what to do. And I ask the question, do you need an expert to solve a problem? The first question. The most important thing we need to recognize in solving problems is not expertise. Because a lot of people, you don't need to be an expert to solve a problem. Please understand. Expert most times is carved out of a place of identity. So you have an hunger issue and you want to eat. You are not a cook, you're not a professional chef, but you can make food for yourself. So we're not asking how continental your dish is. We're not asking how balanced your diet is, but you know the rudiment of basic food. You can eat and you have solved the problem. We are not saying who can create a continental dish that is Mexican in nature. That is a separate case. And that's why we need to come back and say education space, where it is called also the knowledge space. We must act as knowledge practitioners and stakeholders, meaning we must quiz everything we hear. We must bring reasoning to fight reasoning. We must use superior reasoning to counter existing reasoning. It's not enough because it's somebody popular saying it. It's not enough because it's someone in power saying it. Someone can be in power and he might be blind to realities of people. Someone can be in power and it might have been passed down information, second-hand, third-hand, fourth-hand information. Sometimes people are in power and they might give you a sectionalized information, an information that was considered after taking care of a particular need of a group of people, and then the others seem to be left out. So we need to understand that the plight of owners, a lot of people think it's a plight of ash. My staff are leaving, some people resigned. It's not, that's not plight. That is the symptom of your plight. The thing that is really your problem is not that the teachers are leaving. It is the issue of norm. What is the norm right now? A lot of schools are quiet. That's the norm. What is the norm right now? A lot of stuff on Instagram. That's the norm. Is Instagram the solution of your school? You need to understand that people are doing something. Norm is a short form of normal. Norm is a short form of an acronym that says this is how things should be. We must understand to run a vibrant school and to run a vibrant organization in these peculiar times of the world, and also continuously. You must be afraid of norm. Norm is so known as satisfaction, and they say satisfaction is the symptom of death. The moment you become satisfied in something, that day you begin to die. The moment you become satisfied in your knowledge level, that day your knowledge begins to die. The moment you become satisfied at a particular level of position or expression, a particular level of visibility, that's the day your edge, your uniqueness begins to wade away, because better is the enemy of best. And so every school must never be saying, what is the norm? What is happening? You shouldn't be asking what is happening. You should be asking what is required. Because what is happening cannot work for someone. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what is required for you. You don't have the energy for it. You don't have the tenacity for it. You don't have the team for it. Now, let me give you an example. Everybody's on YouTube right now. We've left Instagram at the point we left Facebook. We now went to the second wife. The second wife was Instagram. Now we have divorced Instagram. Everybody's on YouTube. Now, a lot of people don't realize that there is something called the law of messaging. Now, the law of messaging is actually attached to the law of identity. The identity of a thing, the identity of a person, the identity of an organization, it's what predetermines the message that the organization has across. Or else you will just doing activity, which is called the norm. They do it, I do it. They are there, we are here. She did it, I'm doing it. At the end of the day, even if you have measure of success, that's what happens. You will not be fulfilled even in that success. And that's a big plight. A lot of school owners are waiting for what should happen when what should happen is waiting for them. Because you look at it, there's nobody that is giving you a rule. There are no rules in the lockdown. That's the honest truth. There are only restrictions in the lockdown. I say it again. There are no rules in the lockdown. There are only restrictions currently in lockdown. Don't open your physical room. If you open your physical school, you need to meet up with some certain requirements. However, they never give you rules. Your rules of existence supersede all the news that you hear in town. Your news of strategy, your rule of strategy supersedes any news you hear in town. So one of the things that we need to get school owners to move away from is the plight, the situation, the dangerous situation of what you call the norm. Your greatest enemy is not lack of capital. Your greatest enemy is looking like everyone. Being normal is not normal. I repeat, being normal is not normal. One more time, I repeat it. Being normal is not normal. That is something you understand. Business is not going to be normal, because if you work with a market space, you work with sample space, you must understand that something called competitive advantage. And when we say competitive advantage, your competition is not another school. I don't know why we mixed it up in the education sphere. We are competing with school A and school B, or you're competing with educator A and educator B. You're competing with school owner A and school B. No. Your competition is the market, not the organization. Your competition is your client, not the organization. That's why you find that when you check some people's enrollment strategy, their enrollment strategy is tied to this is what is available here. This is what is available with us. No, you must understand that your enrollment strategy and market strategy must be tied to the client you are looking for. Your client is the competition. The market, the target market, the client you are looking for, that is your competition, not school owner A, school owner B. We need to recognize that very well. So must understand, number one, the plight of news. You must fix it, solve it. You must so for some of you, you must not wake up in the morning to say what are they saying on social media. Not that it's wrong to be informed, but you to change your motive, because your direction of what to do should be anchored on news alone. There must be something rock solid on your inside. It's called clarity and direction. And when you do that, then you can use news usefully. You can take a bite of it in some cases. In some cases, you won't even touch it at all. News is toxic. Some people complain of depression. You know what depression came in through? It came in through the words of news. Some people say there's nothing. You know what? Some people are to do trainings. They're not doing trainings. Guess why? Because everybody's not doing training. It's not true. Everybody, you can't say everybody's not doing trainings. I'm still doing trainings. This is the Dolu is still doing trainings. And you know, everybody's not doing free training. Some people are still doing paid training, and it's not cheap training. Some people are still doing well-paid training. It's not only online training. Some people are still doing offline training. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So if you frame yourself after news, you will discover that you were the one that cheated yourself. Number three, there's a plight, and it's the plight of being nice. Being nice. I repeat, the plight being nice. That's a very fun statement, but it's a very true statement. Everybody wants to be nice. You cannot build disruptive brands by being nice. You cannot be a trailblazer just by being nice. And I say nice from the human construct is that you don't want to hurt anyone, typically, meaning that you don't want to ruffle any feather, typically, meaning that you don't want to do something that will bring you to the news. And people are saying that, oh, really, can this happen? You don't want to ask questions. You don't want to make demands. You don't want to change the path. You don't want to chart a direction. And see, when you are being nice, you know what happens? You move from doing trying, because I don't want to. Let's try and do it this way. Why? Because you are being nice. Trial is also a proof of existence of averagism. Anyone that says, I want to try, automatically is not putting his weight behind it. Because to say, I want to try, you've already assessed your output and outcome. I want to try to be a writer. Automatically, you are looking at writing as an option. I want to try to be a consultant. The motive, they say the proof of something is pursuit. But pursuit is the proof of desire. So if I want to try to marry a woman, obviously the woman I'm trying to marry, is not someone I have strong desire for. Why? Because it's try. But when you say I am going to do something, the language is definite, the language is absolute. And a lot of school owners need to recognize, don't try to go online. Trying to go online is like when you went online, you didn't get the result of online. Don't try to migrate your school to automation. Because trying to automate your school is the same thing as being automated. A lot of people take what people are saying, which is true. You hear the likes of Dimeji Falano, you hear the likes of Daria Adebayo, you hear the likes of Prophet Judah Shetu, you hear the likes of Didele Ogbe, you hear the likes of Joel Olanyo, Ronke Posh, powerful people, powerful thought leaders. You see, some of the things that they tell you to do, if you will get the result, you must never try to do it. I repeat, some of the things you hear experts tell you to do, it will only thrive and work when you go with absolutes. You see, you don't try. When you try, let me try to go on Instagram. You will go on Instagram, you have an Instagram account, but you will not mess well on Instagram. You will not have the thing that makes you being seen, being liked, and being heard. Because it's a word of visibility, it's a word of show and tell. And if you don't get that right, you think it's just by being on Instagram that you get the result that you're looking for. So school owners must recognize that it is time for us to quit trying. Don't try to train your staff. Don't try to change your school. Don't try to address the issue of culture change. Don't try to look for staff. Don't try to change the business model. If you want to do it, do it. This is the season where try should not be in your vocabulary, because try most likely will not give you the kind of energy that you should have put into it. It is required that we must give it. Number 4. And number 4 is the plight of being naive. That's very important. We need to understand, no matter how rock solid our dreams be, no matter how rock solid our plans might be, we need to understand that naive leaders lead a lot of times to great loss in outcomes. And what I mean by being naive, we need to recognize that the knowledge that you require must go beyond your current sector-based approach. You need to recognize how do industries generally work, not just how do schools work. You must move away from your current structure of sector approach. Really, being naive will cost you a lot. You need to recognize that the world is global, schools are global, and so you cannot afford to be naive. Understand? You can't afford to be naive. Being naive is not to be in no, not to be in the show, not to be someone who's able to say, this is possible. You know, there are a lot of people who are seeing diverse opportunities. Some people have staff they can pay, but instead of understanding that that mess can actually become something into their hands, the resource, they just begin to, it's not, this thing is working, this thing is not working. Whereas they can engage that situation and come stronger with something else. A lot of people are looking for who will coordinate teachers and deploy individually to houses. There is no structure of administration for that. Your school can evolve in your business model plan. Begin to look at that. Coordination, mobilization of teachers for quality engagement and employment in personal space of family. You know, so all those things are part of the plight that school owners face. I hope this is helpful to some. I said the first plight is the plight of news. The second is the plight of norm. The third is the plight of being nice. The fourth is being naive. The fifth is being narcissistic in nature. You see, a lot of times, you see some people who do one or two things right, and then they become overly expressive in themselves that they just have this exclusive interest in themselves. Is me, is me, is me. Let me tell you, the moment you get into that entitlement space, you become invisible that you won't even see your own flaw. You'll be so invincible that your blind spot will be more than your cleared spots. And once you have a lot of blind spots, you know what will happen? You will appear to be leading, but you end up finding out you are taking a stroke. No one is behind you. No one is for you. If there's anyone around you, they call them alliances. What alliances are? They are people that come because there's a common goal. After that goal is over, they disappear. You understand what I'm trying to say? And you must recognize as a school leader or also the driver of the vision that you have. And for you to make your vision completely seeing the light of day, regardless of the seasons that you find yourself, you must make sure that even your team must not get to that point. You know, some people have been able to do well in their school. People have been able to drive their team well, but they've now become narcissistic in nature. And that thing has turned to overly any little thing say, and any little thing they do, it is now a product of it's me. And when you begin to talk like that, you lose the essence of we culture. It turns into the I-centric culture. You begin to seek, you begin to self-project yourself, and they call them self-seekers. When a leader becomes self-seeker, you know what happens? You are modeling a pattern that followers will follow, and they live faster. Remember, whatever you always see is more than what you sow. So a lot of times when people follow a leader that is self-seeking, learn that same relationship, they learn that same behavior, and they go out and then they go to seek for themselves. Why? You were a self-seeker and you gave birth to self-seeking followers. Self-seeking followers grew up to become what? Self-seeking leaders. And that cycle comes. And that's why sometimes people wonder, I raised them, I trained them, they disappeared. It's not because they were bad. It is because they just bore fruits. They were your seed. They grew and they bore fruits like father, like son. So you must understand that a lot of people are growing people that will not stay with them. It's not economy that made them go. It's disloyalty. It's not tribalistic issues. It is the fruit of your labor. And we must begin to work on that because that's a plight. A lot of people are having culture issues and culture gaps with the workforce they have. And finally, you need to understand there's a major plight, is the plight of the narrative. If there's anything that I would advise any school owner and any school leader listening to me, the narrative is a danger zone. And the narrative is what we normally call the language of communal behavior. What is happening in education now? You hear people talk about certain things, they call it the narrative. The narrative is something you hear and hold with a pinch of salt. You hear that, let me give an example. Who started the issue of blended curriculum? Can anybody point and let us know which year, which month, which day, which hour? Was it morning, was it afternoon? Where did the word blended curriculum come from? Where did the word as is British, Finnish, American curriculum, where did it come from? It came from a narrative. And most times, let me tell you how narratives are birthed. Somebody that wants to push an agenda, he exports it and then names it. When what we call today blended learning, you see everybody's now shouting blended learning, blended learning, blended learning. Where did it come from? Is it new? Is it an innovation? Blended learning has always existed. If you check the African history, pre-medial history, even up to the pre-colonial and post-colonial era, we learned under trees. Stories were part of African culture. Blended learning is not an innovation. But you see, because we didn't name it, somebody named it, it became narrative. Are you following what I'm trying to say? So it's the same thing. Look at our uniforms. It's a product of narrative. That child that is going to school, and if the school is international, the child must look international. And we already call international what? International is when you wear jacket under sun. International is when you put rope or tie on your neck, and the children are sweating, and you're saying that the child has learning disability. He has dyslexia. It's not dyslexia, it's a uniform that's his problem. If a child was wearing a free uniform in the tropics, air can go in, the dyslexia will disappear. There's no dyslexia in that child. Did you assess the child? No. It's the uniform that is hindering the child. I was in secondary school as well. Thank God I was not forced to wear suit. But you see, sometimes you need to understand, as creative people, they need room, they need space. You know, they need to see things. You know, they need to hear things. Our classrooms don't have a lot of see-through windows. Why? Because we have boxed them. And that's the thing that cases the brain. If you check out the brain lens, the problem with us is the narrative. It's time for us to go back to the drawing board for our personal growth, for our collective growth, to look at all these plights that are shared. The plight of news, we have to be careful about that. The plight of norm, we cannot all look the same, even if we are collaborating. The plight of being nice, you cannot make a brand out of being nice. The plight of being naive, you must seek for knowledge, quest for knowledge. And then, of course, being narcissistic, it doesn't make sense. Even when you have results, people will disdain that result. Only you can never be wrong. This I did. No. You must learn that as a leader, your voice must not be the loudest. Your proof should come above your voice. Your proof of result be seen above your voice. And finally, the plight of narratives. If you understand that you are the greatest narrative of yourself, not internet, not the street of social media, the narrative can be shaped, the narrative can be dropped, the narrative can be disrupted, the narrative can be altered. But remember, if it's going to happen, it will start with you. Deal with yourself, deal with your brand, deal with the problems, and at the end of the day, your solutions will become models that people will follow. People have done it before, people are doing it now, and I believe it's now your turn to do it. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share with you these few thoughts of mine, and I hope it's been useful to one person or two people out there. Thank you very much.
Prof. Eyitayo, it's another mind-blowing presentation, you know. Just when the topic was coming up, I was just looking at flight. What is this, my brother, going to say? I know that in my mind, I said, I know that he will have something to say that will meet the need of people. I sincerely appreciate your wisdom and the grace of God upon your life. Thank you for all you're doing. And I'm sure that a lot of our people that are in here and that will see this, they will be blessed by this, because these are basic things, you know, information flying, news flying, people just get it, and somebody will just collapse and you know, for nothing. As the thing got into you, it's not got into you now. So why are you dying before your time? You know, so you must let's get hold of ourselves and not allow ourselves to be victims of circumstances. You know, a lot of things are happening. We appreciate you. You're still around. Some questions will come up. I have like 2-3 school investors, school owners in the house, because when we send out the notification, we ask for school owners to share experience. You know, it's good to hear us talk, and then let's see some of them, how have they been able to cope? What happened? So in the house today, I have Dr. Nnamdi, and then I have Mrs. Jimo. Am I right? In the house,
Yes,
and they will be sharing with us some of experiences. And just before that, let me quickly call on one of our service provider too, Mr. Ashade. Mr. Ashade will be giving us a little. They have an app that is basically examination. You know, because we've been talking about assessment. Assessment has been a major issue, you know, in what we are doing online. So I saw, I just saw a webinar that they are organizing. I said, oh, I went through it. I said, okay, this is going to be a good one for our people. Mr. Shade Paul Olani works with Go Sweet Nigeria Limited. Go Sweet Nigeria Limited is the CEO of Go Sweet. Is a company that specializes in IT solution technology in different areas like transport, education, e-commerce, etc. And they have been in operation for about 4 years now, and they are currently the first company to introduce prototype online assessment in Nigeria. So, Mr. Ashade, please, can we have you say something to us? I'm sure that a lot of our school owners are out here. We are talking about assessment. This is what is being done. Even the government are saying, how well can you assess the children? And I'm sure that I hope somebody in WAEC or from WAEC and NECO are here to also get clue here, so that they can make our terminal exams go online. Thank you, Mr. Ashade, please. Mr. Ashade. Mr. Ashade, can you hear me?
Yes,
Mr. Ashade, are you still on?
can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, yeah, faintly, yes. Yeah, coming on, yes. Yes,
Right.
but I can't hear you again. Okay, now, okay, it's coming up.
Hello.
Yes, now you are, yes, you are audible now. You are clear.
on. I can hear you.
Okay, yes, we can hear you now. So can you talk to us about your Go Swift exam
Hello,
assessment?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you. Okay, while we wait for you,
Okay, yes.
okay. Okay, while he's trying to come
Hello,
back.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can, you can, yes, can you speak, sir? Go on. If you are see,
Hello.
okay, okay, well, maybe you come back later. You can come back later. Mrs. Geshide, are you in?
Yes, please. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, we're out of the sharing the moment the link went out and the information about what we are doing went out, she called me. She called me and then also spent time talking about what she really wants to say. So Mrs. Olufunke Gesinde is the CEO of Triple Cross School, Ogba. Triple Cross School, Ogba. And the school is 25 years old. And they mainly run, school, taking care of children, nurturing children. She's married with children and a granddaughter. It's good to have you in, ma. Thank you so much. This session was really set aside so that we can encourage one another. You have the stage, ma.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. And I want to, in particular, thank Mrs. Dijelu, sorry, for putting this together, because this is quite nice. It's very, very nice. And I've been on the Zoom since almost the beginning, and I've learned quite a number of things. I really particularly like what Mr. Otubela said about collaboration. I'm going to look into taking some of those, and I've picked up some other things here and there, concerning what some of the people had said. So I want to appreciate all the people who have spoken earlier, and I hope that those of us that we have listened, will just not listen to what they have said, but we look into trying to put into practice a lot of the things that we have learned so far. I just want to talk. I'm not an expert in anything, but this pandemic has really helped me to sit down and think. And I came to the conclusion that we cannot continue to run things the way we've been running things, which is basically what most of other people have been saying since morning. I just wanted to share one thing which I have not heard. I have not heard. A lot of people have spoken brilliantly, and I've really learned. But there's one thing that I have not learned, and I guess I've not heard, and I guess it's because most of the people who have spoken, they are not really school owners, so they may not know everything that a school owner is passing through. Now, this pandemic, this COVID-19, has changed the world. Things can never go back to normal the way they were. And it has taught us a lot of lessons. And one of the lessons is that we cannot continue things as usual. We need to have a rethink, I'm not talking now as like the Tubelas and all that. I want to talk now as a school owner. A lot of school owners that I know, maybe because I'm an old elderly person, they are a bit elderly, and we are just not doing things the way it has to be done. A lot of school owners set up their schools because they have the passion, they have the vision. But that is very good, it's fantastic, it's laudable, it's commendable. But it is high time we realized that we're also into business. I had somebody say it earlier in the day. School owners need to know that we are doing business. You know, yes, we are imparting lives. Yes, we have a vision, we have the passion, we want to train the children. What I try to tell some of my parents and teachers is that I'm trying to change Nigeria one pupil at a time. There are a number of things that I feel are wrong in the Nigerian system that I'm trying to put into our own children, so that by the time they grow older and come into position of authority, they will not be making the mistakes of what the present people are making. You know, that is all good as passion and vision. But we must realize, on the other hand, that we're also doing business. You know, we're doing business. And if we don't run our schools as businesses, after a while, it's going to kill the passion and it's going to kill the vision. You can't pay good and you are being insulted and threatened and you don't have peace of mind. You know, those are going to if you have them on time, they will leave you. You'll be left with less than what you had a vision for. You know, they will not be able to put your school on the level that of the vision that you had. When you don't own your building, you'll be at the mercy of the landlord. You know, he can decide once he sees that your population is increasing, he will increase the rent. You don't have anything, you have to pay it or move away and look for another place and lose some children in the process. You know, if you don't own your own building, you are going to have problem accessing funds from banks. A lot of banks want collateral. They want something that they can hold on to. You know, all this will begin to give you high blood pressure. You know, you'll be having high blood pressure and you won't have peace of mind. And once you start having high blood pressure, you don't have peace of mind, you are waking up in the night, it can lead to depression, which can lead to low population when your teachers leave and you can't pay good teachers. And when you have low population, it will give you low income. And low income will lead to more depression. And depression can lead to illness. And then the vision and the mission, when you are sick and they're looking for hospital to take you to, or you know, then all the vision and mission and passion will be lost. So we need to realize that a school is a business and we need to treat it as that. No matter the passion, what you want to do, you can have scholarship for children and all that, but see the school as a business where you must make a profit. And one of the mistakes that we make as school owners is that we try to understand. I like one speaker said earlier that you want to be nice. I've tried to be nice for several years. Auntie, my grandmother had operation, or our daddy traveled, and all those things. Okay, you know, you have to sit up. You have to collect all your school fees. You have to collect all your school fees. The school fees that they're owing us now, if I tell you on this platform, you'll be surprised. Things cannot go on like that. I've called my staff and I've told them when we're resuming, things have to be, you know, different. People have to put their priorities right. You cannot put your child in a school and be telling me that your grandmother, your mother is sick. Then let your child stay at home until when the grandmother is well, then they can resume school. So we need to change our system of allowing people, you know, it's going to be difficult because a lot of us are thinking, oh, if I do that, they'll go to another school, there'll be drop in population. Prepare your minds that there's going to be a drop in population. Even if you don't collect your school fees, there can be a drop in. There was a problem that happened in my school. It was not involving me. It affected me, and I had a serious drop in population. So you prepare your mind when you are coming in that you are going to have a drop in population, and then begin to look into how can you solve that problem. You know, if you are going to have a drop in population, it means you are going to have a drop in income. What are the things that you can put in place to augment, to support the loss? Once you decide to start collecting your fees on or before the first day of term, you will, some of them will go. But guess what? The people that are coming in, they are coming in knowing that you collect your school fees on or before the first day of term, and they will be ready. And over a period of a time, you discover that they are no longer owing you. And if they are no longer owing you, then you don't have a business not paying your staff. Now you can pay good staff because now you know the amount of money you have. You can increase school, you can send away the ones that are not productive and hire better ones. Then you have to decide, once you start collecting school fees on or before to pay your staff salaries on the 30th of every month. That will help you to get good teachers, because a lot of teachers are having issues collecting salaries from their employers. So if they hear that there's a particular school, they pay or even on the 30th, they are ready to take a little less than what they were taking before, just to know that, okay, on the 30th of every month, you know, and that can only be achieved when you have all your money. When you have all your money, then you don't have a business not paying, you know, teachers on time. You know, so you, and if you want to be a good, nice person, you don't want to do that. You know, some parents the parents that are paying are going to leave you after a while, because if they are paying for something and they're not getting as much as what they think, they will leave your school to go to another school where they can get it. And guess what? Some of those who are not paying your school will go to another school where they're even paying higher fees. I've seen people who left, who were asking me for discount. There was a man who had about 5 or 6 children who was asking me for discount. And when he left our school, he went to a school that their school fees was higher than there. And in that school, if you don't pay on time, they don't even give you problem. They just, the day you are ready to pay, they tell you that they're taking a loan from the bank. So the percentage of interest that the loan is charging them, they add it to your school fees. So when you come back and you see that instead of paying a certain amount, they have added interest, next time you will pay earlier. You know, so, and when all the good parents who are paying early are not good parents, or parents who pay well, leave your school, you are going to be left with chronic debtors. So we need to collect our school fees on time, and we need to pay salaries on time. This will make your teachers stay. And once you have stable teachers, that's a plus for your school. That school, or they must be treating the teachers well, because the teachers have been there for 10 years. I have a staff in the secondary school that we started together from day one. Our school is over 10 years old. So we need to do that. Now, when you collect your school fees on time, apart from being able to pay your staff and pay them well and on time, you have enough money to improve the school. You have enough money to, you know, touch up the school to do things better, which will in turn attract more people, more children to your school. And then you are able to, you know, elevate your school and take it to a higher level. All because you are, you know, you are collecting your fees on or before the first day of term. That is the first thing. The second thing I would like us to take note is that the pandemic has shown us that we need to save for a rainy day. We need to save for a rainy day. If there's no business, I mean, it's not a business when you run a school for 25 years and then there's a problem for a month or two and you have nothing to fall back on. You have not been running a school, in a business. A lot of school owners, we are working for our teachers. We are working for our landlord. We are working for the government. We are working for everybody except for ourselves. We need to know that we have to start working for ourselves. Now, it's going to be very difficult, you know, if you don't have a mind, you have to have a reset of your mindset. I had an accountant about 15 years ago. She called me one day and said, "Auntie, I want us to be saving 500,000 naira every time." I said, 500,000, how can that be? Every time we go and borrow money to pay salaries, the last month or so, she said, "Auntie, if you save 500,000 a term, we will borrow money at the end of the term. If we don't save 500,000, we will also borrow money." So I agreed with her. So every term, we will take 500,000 and put it somewhere. By the time we wanted to buy the second building for the school, they asked us to bring an equity contribution. I was shocked when I went to that account and discovered that we had 5 million naira in that account. It was the 5 million that we added a little money to, that we used as equity contribution to be able to acquire that building. If we had not been saving the 500,000, we will have spent it and we wouldn't have already had anything. So we need to start saving for a rainy day. And a lot of us feel that, okay, the money we have now is not enough to run the school. How can we save? Yes, the pandemic has shown us how to save. Because if you think what you have now is so little that you cannot save out of it, the pandemic has shown us that even when you don't have anything, you will not die. So let's say you have 100 students or 100 pupils in the school. Assume that you have 80. Already you are collecting all your money on the first day. Assume you have 80. 10 of the children, the school fees of 10 of the children, if you are a Christian, pay it as a tithe. The second 10 school fees of 10 children, put it in an account where you don't have a checkbook, you don't have an ATM. And plan everything on 80. If you have 100 and you think that money from 100 will not be enough for you to save from, what if they drop to 80? You are still going to live. So you just assume that you have 80 children and you try and base that. You have to start saving for a rainy day. It is very embarrassing for us as school owners that the government closes the school for a little while and most of us cannot even pay the first month's salary because we don't have anything. We don't have anything. We have to change that. Another thing I would like us to think about is that we have to go into investments. I attended a program several years ago in Sheraton where we were told that when we first resume at the beginning of the term, we usually have a lot of money. You know, then as time goes on, the money begins to dwindle as we start paying for all things. The period where we have a lot of money, let us take that money and put it in an investment that will yield a little bit of money for us, even during the term. There are many such investments around. After the program in Sheraton, I decided to open an account for my children there. And I opened one for myself. And I just gave a standing order. They should put 10,000 naira in each account of the children and put 30,000 for myself. And I just forgot it. And I gave them a particular day of the month that they should do it. Several years later, one of my children went into bakery and needed a machine that was 1 million. And I didn't have the money. Then I remembered the investment. I said, well, I think I have an investment. You should have up to 200 or 300 there. Then I should have 300, maybe can get 500 or 600, then can ask daddy to help us. But guess what? On getting there, I discovered that my son had 480-something thousand in that account of 10,000 naira a month that I had put in place when they were still in school. And guess what? I had over 1 million. Now, that 1 million was not the money that they took from me. The money they took from me was just about 700,000, but they were trading with the money. And from the trades, they had generated additional 300,000 or 400,000 naira for me. So we have investments like that. We need to look into that. Another thing we need to look into is that we need to have other sources of income. We cannot rely solely on school fees. This pandemic has shown us that we need to have another source of income. There are some businesses that we can do as school owners that can generate little money for us on a consistent basis. And that does not take our time. There are some businesses that we put some money into, and every day, there's one I'm doing, every day generates a little amount. I'm not doing anything except to put my money there. It generates little money, little money. There are so many of them. I know about 5 or 6 that you can put money into, and we need to do that. Then another thing, we need to plan for our retirement. What kind of a grandmother would you want to be? What type of a grandfather would you want to be when you retire? Well, we can't forever going to be able to go to school. At a point in time, we have to disengage. What do you plan for yourself during that time? We have to put something in place. You cannot plan that, okay, from January to March, I will stay with Bumi and her husband. Then April to June, I will go to Ronke's house with her husband. Then from July, my son, I will go and meet my sister, my brother. If you do that, you are just putting yourself in a position where you can be insulted. There was a video going around recently that I came across where is a daughter-in-law was abusing the mother-in-law directly, calling her a witch and 2 left legs, and describing how her knock knees were when she was walking. And the husband was there filming the thing and putting it on the social media. They must have been tired of her. You don't want to become that kind of a grandmother or whatever. We need to start planning for our retirement. We need to save money, buy shares, do investments, invest in properties. There are some properties that are going for as low as 8,000 in Ogba here, 8,000, 10,000, that we can over time buy and rent out, that you can have an income from it. And one of the last things I would like to talk about is, how do you take care of yourself? Like I said earlier, you've been working for everybody except for yourself. You have to work for yourself. You have to give back to the society. Somebody was talking about it earlier, but not in the way I saw it. You give back to this. You have to think of something that you can do for the environment where your school is. There's a school not too far from me. She sunk a borehole and she put the taps outside and she pumps water and allows everybody on that street to come and fetch water anytime they like. We need to think of something like that, how we can give back to the society. And finally, we need to take care of our health. A lot of us, we think we are going to be as strong as this forever. Yes, that's our prayer, and God will answer it. But we need to take care of it. It is when you take care of yourself now that you enjoy a better, good health in your old age. There are supplements that we need to be taking. For example, women, we need to know that we need to be taking calcium to prevent our bones becoming porous and easily breakable when we're older. So you need to, take care of yourself. You need to take preventive medications. You need to take recommended medications. We need to do annual checkups to foresee something that could go wrong before it does. And we need to come to a realization that we don't have to be so extravagant. A lot of us, our children are getting married. We don't need to feed 1,000 people at weddings. We don't need to. We don't need to feed half of Nigeria because our mother died or our father died. There are a lot of people that were buried during this pandemic. When I was 40, I rented a hall. I took a beer and everything, because when I was about 36, 37, I had an illness. I almost died, and luckily God saved me. So I threw, when I was 50, I did. Guess what? During the pandemic, I turned 60. I did it in my sitting room, my children, my husband, and one or two friends I remembered. So we need to, in general, we need to look at how we can do things differently for us to be, how to have a school that is more sustainable, to have good health, and to save for a rainy day. And I hope, some of us will take one or two things from what I have said. Thank you very much. And
thank you so much. This is so loaded. It is loaded. And thank you for spending time to go through these details. We are very, very grateful. We appreciate your time here. Thank you so much, Ma. Maybe we listen to another of our owners also sharing, and we have and whatever the comments and questions that come up, we'll be able to call your attention to that later. Mrs. Ololade Jimo, are you in?
Yes,
Mrs. Ololade Jimo.
Yes, I'm available, ma'am.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you for being here. God bless you.
Yes,
Mrs. Ololade Jimo is the Director of Study of Azima.
Al-Azima.
Yes, Al-Azima Montessori School. And normally, she is an enthusiastic self-starter and a strong organizational and managerial skilled person with a sense of responsibility, confident, courageous, and result-oriented. She's been teaching for a while, and she also lectures at Ogun State Institute of Technology. We also want to share, because the last session we had 2 weeks ago, she also shared something on the comment side. And when this time also came, she also got back to us, said she wants to share to be an encouragement to owners. Like Mrs. Geshide said, we have all been talking. Well, thank God we run small businesses, but running a school, it's like where it pains it more, that person who knows. So Mrs. Jimo, can we hear you?
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. I must really appreciate you, Mrs. Adekogbe. You've been doing a very great job. Honestly, I've learned a whole lot today. So it's not about what I'm sharing, it's about what I've learned. And I must actually appreciate that. Florish-Gate Global Consult. It seems we've been on this journey for the past 5-6 years now. I'm a very good acquaintance to Mr. Joel. Yes, we've been meeting in so many trainings, and it has been great knowing you. I must really commend Mr. Itayo. In fact, Mr. Rotimi, he was a bombshell. Thank you so much. I'm following you on Facebook immediately after this. I think I have a whole lot to gain. Mrs. Geshinde, thank you so much. In fact, that was like, bringing out a pinch, or, bringing out where it pains, exactly where it pains school owners. If we are talking and we are bringing ideas, we're bringing solutions, and we are not really listening or hearing from those that actually in it. It's let me say, Adekogbe, you've really done a great job, giving that opportunity. I must commend Mr. Was that Mr. Deji? Yes, Mr. Dimeji, Mr. Falano. I've been in, and it's been a wonderful session, I must say. Okay, let me quickly go through the experiences. Then I'll add one or two things that I've prepared. Okay, at first, we look into when the new normal, as the case may be. Let's say when the COVID-19 started, and we sat down as a school to actually look at what do we need to do. It's only came like just like a bombshell to everyone, and we actually had to close down. And what we were looking at was just 2 weeks. But at Al-Azima, we just decided that, okay, fine, let's sit down and see exactly what we need to do. Then we designed our belief. At first, we were able to understand that learning will continue no matter what. That was the first belief, that irrespective of, okay, lockdown, we don't know when, we don't know how. As at that time, there was no, just if I will pick from Mr. Ita, he said, the plight of news. The news that came in, it just happened. So we decided to sit down and say, okay, fine, what do we need to do? So one of the beliefs we looked into is that we need to understand that learning must continue. Then we look at, okay, fine, how? Before I go into that, we looked into, okay, every child must have access to education. How? The question is still how. If learning will continue, if every child will have access to education, then how? Then we have the belief that, okay, there must be a collaboration among the key players. That is the parents, the pupils, the teachers, the school. It's still how. So that question of how actually kept on coming in her belief. Then we looked into another belief that we are very well aware that the position of the school and staying relevant to parents is still a question. We say that it's still something that must be worked upon. And the question again is how. And the fifth belief we worked into is learning as an educator. We believe that as an educator, learning must still continue. Then how? Again. So the question of how in all this belief kept on coming in despite the news. Yes, despite the news. And eventually we decided to sit down and work out the how. So the how is what Mrs. Darekobegbe has been saying ever since, and all the speakers have been talking about since morning, the LMS, the learning management system, because that actually brings collaboration. It brings learning, the continuous learning for pupils. It brings continuous learning for teachers as educators. It brings continuous collaboration amidst the parents and the school. So that was, the LMS actually stands as how when we documented our beliefs. So I'll quickly go into the experience. Okay, bringing in the parents now, the involvement was quite impressive. Let me say at first, everybody were so good, so happy that, okay, our children are learning online, and, and as time goes on, when it was now time for us to say, okay, exam time, some parents were like, add negative mind of, oh, how can our children write exams? I'm talking about exam for primary, that's for graded pupils. I'm not talking for preschools, pupils' results were more of assessment, their activities assessment. But for the primary, we're not even able to write second time exam before we locked down. So we actually had to go into, okay, collaborate with the parents, explain to them, make it known to them, create the awareness, and the exam was eventually successful. That was 95% of what do we call it? Participation from parents and from pupils. It was a bravo, and the report too was sent online through the learning management system. Then here comes the real thing, the payments. Some parents were like, no, we cannot pay. We are the one in charge of taking care of the children and all that. It was a time of reflection for us. It was a time for us to sit down and think deeply what we've been doing, what is actually our relevancy. So this is where I will come. I want to actually put in some things over here. Payments at a particular time, actually, at first we were a bit skeptical asking for payments in HSS. So I'm sharing experience in good term now. But we decided to look into our processes, to look at how we've been running, our records, our structure, and we'll decide that, okay, fine. If we've been running positively, if truly we've been imparting knowledge, if truly we've been passing our messages the way we should, I think this is the time, the testing time for us to know how well we've been doing. In fact, to me, I would say COVID-19 has given us the opportunity to do a real test, a real life test for most schools. It is the time for you to see that if you are a school or you are just running busyness, not business, a business. Yes. So at that particular time, I looked, in fact, I had to do a whole lot of sampling, a whole lot of training to check. I actually sent my teachers online to join almost all the trainings running on and come back to collaborate, give us feedback. And what we discovered is that as at that time, most schools, most parents don't want to pay. Then we decided, okay, fine, let's do our own test running. And we went ahead to have a parent meeting online, and it was a successful one, I must say. Parents were willing, they commented. In fact, I think the first thing we were able to do is to convince them. So the first part was not for parents to pay. No. The first, in fact, we actually run close to 2 months before we even introduced payment at all. Because, we wanted to be sure that we're well equipped and we're doing the right thing. And parents are seeing the impact. So I think one of the mistakes most schools are doing is because, yes, a school is doing online learning and they're collecting money. Most school owners decide to run into it and start asking for money without even putting all the things that is needed for the parent to understand. So say if what's it called? If the platform is helping the process of learning, teaching, management, and everything. So the first thing is not actually to come on board to say we want to attach money to our online. That was not the first time. So what we did to our own parents was, yes, after almost 2 months, writing exam, doing online classes for close to 2 months, then we had a meeting with them. Some of them were like, oh, the payment was much. Some of them were like, okay, come to our aid if you're having. But no parent says we cannot pay. None of them says we should not pay. So what I'm trying to say here is that when we are doing anything or we want our parent to pay, we should be deliberate on how we are able to proceed with it, how we're able to present it. So the case of we are not paying is not actually the case. The case of, okay, can you consider, most of us that have 2, 3 children was actually the case. So in that regard, we're able to come into conclusion with a parent that, okay, fine, those that are having 2, 3 children will be given a reasonable discount that, will enable everybody to participate in this. So that's actually one of those points I want to bring out. And the next one of the experiences we encountered, in fact, is the experience of everyone, is the internet, the use of the learning tools, the internet subscriptions, and all of that. One of those ways we've been able to look into that is that we are using a very structured learning management system. I've had a whole lot of learning management system today, and I must actually add that the one we are using, which is Microsoft Teams, that is Office 365, is practically built and inbuilt into our own system by myself and my husband. We are IT people, so it's not that we are enrolling or we are under any. We looked into Microsoft Teams, that is Office 365, and we embedded it indirectly. And I must say that is one of those training I was doing. I'm not done anyway, but I'm a certified Microsoft Innovator Educator. I'm running into being an expert, and the next level is being a trainer very soon. One of those areas we look into is that when pupils are not available, Would learning take place? Yes, it will still take place, because either those pupils are available online or offline. Learning must still go on. So in one way or the other, we try to embed, some learnings outside the classes. But one of the areas that we cannot, I'm saying that we cannot afford to remove or not to pay attention into, is that teachers to pupils contact must always be part of learning. Teachers to pupils relationship, teachers to pupils, either in a forward class or online. We cannot afford the absence of a teacher in learning process. That makes the teachers still very valuable. I know most of the schools, immediately when the news comes in or when they receive the news, the first thing they did was to lay off all their teachers just because they don't want to pay. That was a total no, a zero way, because you see, either we like it or not, when the school owners are not there, just like Mr. Itayo has said, that we now have more teachers than the school owners. I don't know how he puts it. That is a very true one. That was why I kept on saying, you've lightened up my day. Teachers are very important in this journey, and we cannot underestimate their values. It's not so possible. So one of the platforms we decide to actually use is that at a particular time, if it's twice a week, 3 times a week, full a week, a teacher must be able to have access to the pupils, attend to their questions, to their inquiries, to their inquisitiveness, so that the teacher will be able to say, okay, yes, I'm still following up on my children. Now, in a case where we now have, what do we call it? We don't have a real-time communication between teachers and the pupils. Yes, there are still platforms that can even give us the opportunity to have a record, and the pupils will still be able to communicate eventually. So when we're talking about internet as one of the setbacks, I'm saying that internet has been on and parents has been subscribing to it ever since, even before COVID-19. The only time is that what they use it for then and what they use it for now. Because I discovered that either now or then, subscription of internet in most homes has been on. There is no, even if it's not a Wi-Fi at home, it has been on the parent's phone. And now learning has gone so high such that, with a parent phone, your pupil can even have access to the learning. So I don't see any reason why any parents would just feel like, okay, yes, let me not go on with the school or the teacher. Let me just keep my children at home doing nothing. Now, one of those issues I noticed we had, the setbacks we had, was, or let's say we are still having, is the case of parents deciding that I'm not going along with the school. Let me keep my own children at home, and I will take a lesson teacher physically. That's, I think the first thing, or most what we need to do as school owners, if of course, is that we need to start encouraging parents. Yes, lesson teachers are doing great. We cannot overemphasize on the importance of teachers. Yes, I agree. But lesson teachers cannot give you a structured plan, learning plans. Who is monitoring that lesson teacher? Yes, who is assessing the learning or the knowledge that child is taking? How do we give a result that truly what that child needs to learn has taken place? So those are the real questions we need to push to parents, so that they will know that, yes, the work of lesson teachers is, yes, is well taken, but you cannot still disassociate yourself from the school, because the school stand as, what do we call it, as the body that regulates the learning and the learning process. Okay, having said that, one of the setbacks that I notice is very general, and part of our experience is teachers not paying more attention. Yes, teachers not paying more attention based on the fact that, you know, they are not used to working alone. You know, while school were in session and most school owners were used to not leaving their teacher. In fact, most schools owner cannot even leave the school premises to do other things. Just because immediately they step out, their teachers will not be able to do, they will just say, okay, the madam has left, so let's take. So we've not run the school in such a way that the teachers see themselves as managers. We should be able to give them rooms to understand that the position I'm holding is a covenant. It's a place I must deliver. It's a place I must care for the children in my care. As a school owner, you cannot worry about salary, worry about rent, worry about teaching, worry about school, worry about security, safety. At the same time, be on the tour of teachers. So in a way, when we learn how to delegate work, in essence, how to delegate our work, assuming that has been on before the close down of school, it will be quite easier for teachers to work wherever they are. And you still have rest of mind to attend to some other things that are necessary.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. My time. Yes. Let me quickly round that up. Yes, let me quickly round it up.
All right.
So on my slide here, after talking about you know, problem encountered and all that, I would say it's just a simple advice that I think this is a time for all school owners to look into the structures again, to look into the processes. This is the time, if you've not been training your teachers before, this is the time you put all learnings, especially now that technology is now in place to take over. The technology is not here. There's nothing we can do about it, to take over most of the activities in school. So, you know, those areas are where I think we need to work better. We need to work more. If we have vision and mission, core values and all that, let's check it. Our processes are very important. Structure and the CPD, that's continual professional development of all participants in the school. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's the end of the slide.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Jimo. That was awesome. Thank you for making time to come and share your experience with us. I'm sure that as co-owners in the house have also gained one or two things. You have done well. We appreciate you very well. Do we have Dr. Nandi Ezekiel in the house? Dr. Nandi? Dr. Nandi, are you in? Okay. Mr. Shade, are you okay now? Can you just do us 5 minutes, please? Mr. Shade. Hello, Mr. Shade. We can't hear you still. We can't hear you. I don't know something about your audio. Something about your audio. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you very well. 5 minutes. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to thank you for the opportunity you have given us to come and share this with you. I'm actually inviting you to a free webinar that is coming up on the 1st of August 2020 between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. It's about an online assessment using the current artificial intelligence with live proctoring. What do we mean by live proctoring? We want to give you an access to be able to conduct your exam as if you are conducting it in an exam hall. We will demonstrate and show a product that can help you have a complete LMS system where you conduct your exams in a secure environment. You monitor, you proctor, as in you monitor and proctor your candidates, both audio and video proctoring. We will show a demonstration of the product. You will have access as an administrator to have a live view of whoever is writing your exams. Mrs. I will share you the registered link where you will be able to register for the webinar on Saturday, 1st of August 2020 you'll be able to register for the webinar and see the product, how the product works. It's the first and the second world acclaimed online assessment tool currently, and is the first for the Indian environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shade, for your time. Thank you. I will share that link with everybody. I will share it around so that it will be an opportunity to be able to be at that webinar to see how that operates. You know, thank you. We appreciate your time. Dr. Nandi, are you back? Hello? Dr. Nandi, are you back?
Yes, I'm on ground.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Nandi Ezekiel Oluwaseun Ejiafo. You know, that was so, you know, when I saw
That's a
Oluwaseun, I
complete
said,
name.
yeah, Nigerian. Oh, but there is no Abubakar Muhammad. You know, it's from Enugu. He's a lecturer at the Enugu State University of Science and Technology, a project manager, and the CEO of founder of the Builders Academy Enugu, a nursery and primary school. A nursery and primary school. He will be sharing with us also. So because of time, you could just let's see how we be able to spend the time so that we don't take a longer time. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate this because it's a learning process to me too, because it's becoming an eye opener to really see the level of our educational management system in Nigeria. I appreciate all the presenters because they talk more on the technology and how we can improve on all these online e-technology teaching and e-examination. I really appreciate that. My own side of it is really going to be a little bit brief and at the same time direct. We established a Builders Academy, which is an offering of our NGO, that is the Builders Assembly. When we came in on board, we discovered that there are so many children on the streets. They could not, their parents could not afford formal education for them, and these children need to be taken out of the streets. Now, because if you follow most of the teaching all this while, being like we are really addressing educated parents. We are really addressing an environment that is well enlightened. Okay, because we are talking about technology, we are talking about e-learning. It means that the parents have the facilities. It means that the parents, they have the knowledge. Because something I've noticed about our private teaching system in Nigeria is like when you give an assignment to a child, it's also like giving an assignment to the parents. You know, so when you have parents that are not educated, then what do we expect to become of such a child or people, you know? So that is one thing we've noticed. And again, if you look at our regional system, just like I pointed out to Madam earlier, I said some areas in this country are more enlightened than the other. I grew up in the West, and I know by the time we want to come down to the East, my dad told us, no, you are going nowhere. You must acquire your basic education here in the West. Because when you go back home, the story is different. And I really bless God that we are keen to such an advice, because on getting home, really, the story was really different. But all the same, the system is changing gradually, because in the West, the absolute mentality is just about education. The pride is education. Everybody aspire to be well qualified. You know, the certificate speaks. The knowledge and recognition is judged or assessed based on the weight of your certificate. But the story is different in the East. If you are well certificated, if you don't have money, you are nothing. You know, so and based on that, the priorities of different region or different states or different locality differs from one place to the other. Even though I stay in Enugu, but I can tell you that we have so many communities, so many people, even living in the capital, that don't even understand what we are talking about. So, like when this coronavirus thing broke out, then we couldn't complete our exams, and some of those parents even stopped their children that, oh, government has closed school. So there is no need of going again. In fact, without even hearing anything from us, they've withdrawn all their children home. And then we were now in between, what do we do next? Then if we want to really establish a e-learning system, how do we start? Because some of these parents, they don't even have phone. Um, let me give the background of the school. We started not too long, just barely 1 year, and we have about 54 kids in the school, out of which 12 of them are on scholarship. Because being NGO, then we decided to take them out of the street, the orphans, to give them free education. And then, but we discovered that even both the orphans and even those that are with our parents, they don't even have phone number. They don't have phone. There is no means of communication. Not even talk of online teaching. You know, so that is the aspect that I will really speak about and advise us on how to really go about such a situation. So for good 2 weeks, we were confused because we started going from home to home and to advise the parents, to give them orientation about what the pandemic is all about and what is expected of these kids within the period, how to tell them as now we can't reach out to our children online because their parents are poor. Most of the parents are illiterate, and if we allow these children to
Wow, it's like there is an issue there. Dr. Namdi is joined us from Enugu. I'm sure there's a bit of an internet issue. Well, it's been a great time. Somebody asked a question earlier. How can the parents is on? What is the advice for schools whose parents are not technology savvy? Just like Dr. Namdi was saying, I don't know, maybe, so what advice do you have for, for school that they don't have, the parents are not tech savvy and they are frustrated all efforts online learning because they prefer to engage lesson teachers for their children? Yes. Do you have anybody any of our panelists who want to answer that? What advice do you have for school whose parents
Hello.
are not? Yes.
Hello, Mr. Dikobe.
Yes.
Okay, I think for probably the person needs to hear it again. Many of the panelists, one of the speakers, Mr. Rotimi, also has answered that.
Okay.
The position of that school now, they need to do something about their position. The parents are not probably appreciating the online, or they are having issue with data. So they need to speak with have a meeting with their parents.
I think there's a background noise. Dr.
Yes,
Nadi,
madam.
can you just stop off for
Yes,
okay,
you see, yes, based on that question, because it's just like part of what I was trying to
exactly.
explain. Because we have some of these parents that are illiterate, not that they don't value the school, not that they don't appreciate technology, but they are illiterate. Apart from being illiterate, some of them are poor. They can't even, I'm talking about people that don't even have ordinary, I pass my neighbor phone, not even talk of digital ones, So, and then they can even connect to other Wi-Fi or whatever. Some of them are very poor. I must tell you that in the school, every Friday, I feed the kids every afternoon on Fridays. The poverty is so huge in such an environment. And we have so many other deep areas, like in other parts of the country. Okay, and then we have children there, and these children are expected to compete with children from bigger schools. So how do we save the children? How do we enlighten the parents? We went as far as inviting parents to meeting during this period twice, and we gave them orientation, we gave them some explanations. All right, we taught them some things. We have some, before we started organizing what we call home training system, whereby we started giving the children, okay, you will come on Monday, a particular class will come, on Tuesday a particular class will come, and then when you come around, we maintain physical distancing and some other necessary things. We were teaching them, but then we were doing it out of the context, because we cannot really say that we are in the school, but then we don't want them to just stay at home without imparting knowledge on them. And all the training we'll be giving since then have been free, so that we can see about 10 kids will come on a particular day. We space them, might be 5 in a class, and then cover themselves, we give them nose masks and all those things, just to make sure that we transfer knowledge to them. That is why you see some of them prefer like having lesson teachers and so on, because they believe in seeing the physical contact. Children that will appreciate online teaching must have been children that their parents are technologically oriented, whereby they be using their parents' phone, even from discussion, even for calls, even from browsing before. So like my kids, they use my phone, they have laptop, and they are on in some of these things. You understand? But when you talk about some other parents that are poor or illiterate, it becomes a serious challenge. I will wish that if we have the panelists in the house and some of them that can really give us advice on how to go about this in the nearest future, so that if we have a challenge like this, then rural areas will be able to know how to address the issue without having physical contact, and what can be done that can help both the parents and the children. Because the fact is that we are all stakeholders. We can't the school can't do everything. The kids must add their own, then also the parents. You understand? We are not even talking about the school fees here, which one that one was a serious matter, because the first 2-3 weeks we started asking them to come around. Most of the parents were afraid to release their kids because they don't have the money to pay. But then we had a seminar with them, and we told them we just want to do this to help. Just allow the kids to come. It's free. For the past 3 months, we have been taking those kids free of charge and paying our teachers at the same time. And then to talk about the payments of the teachers, I think I would just like to drop a point here. School owners, actually, we are into business, but then sacrifices are essential. We need to learn how to make some sacrifices in order to keep the system running. Because we discovered that there are so many big schools, even here in Enugu, that find it very difficult to pay their teachers during this period. You know, to me, I think it's not really good enough. Like us, even though whatever we're doing it free, but we're able to raise money, even from personal end, to make sure that we sustain our teachers. At least we place them on half salary during this period to help them. And I think that is encouraged. We expect all our private school owners to look into the aspects of our teachers in terms of payment to the teachers, because we hear it all over the place that the private school teachers are complaining, no payment, no salary, nothing. So the system is challenging, but at the same time we should try. So I really appreciate you for this short time that is given. If I continue speaking, I will be on.
Thank you.
So I thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Doctor. We appreciate you. There will still be a lot of things that we can do together, because of that, we appreciate what you are doing there, because it's really the concern about the Nigerian child. Those children that are not privileged to be in the ICE fee paying schools, are we going to leave them behind? No, they are Nigerians and they also have the right to be educated. If our government are not doing enough, then the private, have to step in. So it's important for us. We all have to wake up from our slumber and know that the education of the Nigerian child is the responsibility of everybody. As we begin to talk on and on, I want to trust that there will be, and there are a lot of money people in the East. They have money. Couldn't they have invested? Investing in educating you know, the street children, not just, I know that they will just opt to want to take them to go and learn trade, but, you know, they first be educated before, you know, going to gain skill. That is at the basis of the primary and secondary school. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you so much. It's been a wonderful time here. There's been just a lot of wonderful comments here. No questions at all. I think a lot of people, there a lot of questions have been asked. I said, please now, what can I do with age 2 and age 3 parents in our school? They are not complying in our online lesson. They keep telling me that they are too small. Yes. Is anybody here to answer that?
Okay. Can I take that?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. You know, some of what is going on now depends on what we've been running, how we've been running before. To be candid, we cannot disintegrate the school now and what has been going on before. What are the methods you've been using? Has your method been quite, you know, effective? And the parents, are you known to the fact that you know how to, you know your onions? Your teacher knows your onions, you know about it. You know, sometimes when we want to introduce this to the parents, as I've said, the first part is not the payment, it's not the money. Either it will work or not. Have you introduced it to them without talking about them to come and pay a certain amount of payment, money? Let them see the platform you have. Present it to them in a way. You see, I think it was Mrs. Adekogbe that I think it was yes, it was Mr. Adekogbe that presented a training, a webinar about the fact that we cannot engage a pupil that age for more than 1 hour a day. Screen time.
1 hour itself is too much.
It's too much, you know, for 2-year-old. So, you know, in a case where we school owners are saying, yes, others are going online and I want to go online too, and you're not looking at your parents, the status of your parents, or how you've been running, the vision of the school that has been coming on, it will affect. Let me say, for instance, on our own part, in fact, I will not lie to you, in our 2-year children and 3 years children we wanted to actually sideline them because then I was thinking they are too small to come on board and be, but unfortunately the parents were the one that says, no, we want to join. And they joined in. And it was so beautiful. In fact, I was shocked at the response and their activity. Even till now, 18 months and 2 years are online, actively doing a whole lot of activities. So I would say the solution to this is, as a school, call your teachers and work more on practical-based activities for now. Prepare weekly activities for the children. Let them know those work are coming from the school. Let your teacher be active, buy them data, follow them up. In fact, sometimes you need to buy them fuel to power their generator. As a school, you just have to provide everything possible for your teachers to work. That is why we say we have a conducive place to learn and conducive place to teach. So prepare. If it needs for you to, as a school owner, to prepare cardboards, sugar papers, pen, and all that, prepare a box. Prepare a weekly plan of activities for those children to work at home. Put it in a box, send to their house, to their homes. Let those children finish up their work. Let their parents use their phone to capture their activities and send to the school platforms. By the time you do that actively for weeks, then they will know that you truly have children's learning at heart. Despite the fact that it's not all our parents that are paying, we try as much as possible to showcase that paying, and since they're paying, they're not all of them are online. I must say, it's not that we have 100% of them, but I'm saying that in one way or the other, we tried as much as possible to showcase what all the people are doing. So the main platform where others parents are. And we try to encourage them to let their children at home do the same thing. So either you are paying or not, we are still trying to communicate that this is what we're doing presently. If you are at home helping your children, truly it's not that some of them don't want to pay. Some truly cannot afford it. So we just have to put all those things in place. So if your parents are saying 2 years and 3 years are too small, truly they are too small for screen time. If they have the opportunity, let them place their children to participate. If not, still create an activity for them and let them know the school is still present. That is what matters. And learning is still going on. Thank you.
Mrs. Jimo. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, Ronka Poch is here because she runs a preschool and nursery primary school too. And she's here to also, she's been on. Actually, they actually had their third time online, and they had their virtual graduation, not too long. So can you chip in? 2 and 3 years old, Mrs. Jima said so much. Yes, Mrs. Adeni.
Good afternoon, ma. Thank you for. Yes, I am. Thank you for inviting me. I've been listening since 11 o'clock. And the minute I went to the kitchen to go and get something to drink was when they called me. So it's amazing. I've been there since. Yes. So what would you like me to add, ma?
Yes, for children age 2 and 3, parents are complaining that they are too small and they don't want them to join the online school. So what advice do you have for these school owners? Mrs. Jimo said some few things, and we can have some additional so that I know that a lot of other schools could also have that same issue.
Yes, they are quite young. Yes, they are quite young. And if the parents can engage them at home, that's fine. But we must let the parents understand communication is key, that it's a stage of development for the child. And you don't really want them to miss out on certain activities and milestones that the parents might even miss at home. And also, when you are engaging children at home, during this time, what we did at Le Poche School was that we were not constantly doing Zoom with that age group. They're quite young to be there online. Instead, we made it very, very activity based. So they can go and create maybe an island, and then they will submit the pictures. They will do the presentation, and then we were just giving them the instructions. But twice a week, once a week, sometimes we would have like PE, like a Zoom activity where everybody will wear their sports wear. We will sing, we will dance, we will clown around, and then we'll just give them free time to say hello to their friends. Only them. We just facilitate, and they will just be talking to their friends. How are you? Because seeing their friends is the way they socialize these days. There's no playground, so that video conference is now the playground. So when you give them that time and say, okay, friends, you all have 5 minutes to talk to yourself, you will sit down and say, oh, hello, Bola, is that your house? I like your car. I like your teddy bear. I like your. You just say everything will just be noisy. Oh. So we just leave them to do whatever they want. And then we have circle time. All these videos, I'll post them on my YouTube link. I've started posting some on my YouTube link of how we engage them, because we found it. I'm a preschool expert. I love preschool more than anything. So when I saw that even some of my teachers were struggling or were being shy to show up online, I started doing it myself. And I'll be silly. I'll paint my face and I'll just be saying, circle time, circle time. It's a very special time. Come sit down and have some fun. I'll sing also a song. The color of the week is blue. The color of the week is blue. The color of the week is blue. Now, friends, I need you to get me 5 blue items. I need you to present your 5 items to Miss Rogan. That's what they call me in school. Miss Rogan. So all those things, you just have to do it and engage it. Let me tell you, by the time you send 1, 2, 3 videos, powerful videos, those parents will not want their children to miss out. But if you're sending worksheets, paint this, write this, scribble this, I'm telling you, they won't engage. But when they see so much fun, by the time you start putting in the work little by little, they'll be doing it and they'll be looking forward to it. In fact, my children, I'm telling my parents say they want to see Miss Ronke all the time. They want to see me. And that's how it was for all the other preschool teachers. So I think engagement for that age group, we just make it fun. make the videos very, very powerful. Your editing skills. I put some videos about graphics, editing online just now on my YouTube channel. Go and learn to edit. Go and get to do powerful filters. Once you know how to do those things, you push those powerful videos out. In fact, there was a parent that was telling me that, Miss Ronke, I'm sorry, I have to send your videos to my friends for their children to use, and they sent it to their own school to use as well. So I just thought, if people are in need of ideas, I've got loads. I have about, how many videos do we create? Because we did online circle time every single day. Every single day we were doing it. Was the toughest time of my life, but it was worth it. And we have all those videos, over 100 videos, which I'll be posting on YouTube soon. Brilliant. I hope that helps.
That was awesome, and I'm sure that she already said thank you, because from the contribution of Mrs. Jimo and Ms. Adeni, they have so much to explore. That was awesome. Thank you so much for your time. We have really taken
no problem. Just hit the subscribe button on my channel. It's free, and then you'll see the videos as they come in. Okay, all right, bye, ma. I'll just go back to listening mode.
All right, thank you. Okay, so it's been great having everybody here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Can we? There are not so much questions. I think we've done so well, and they have been so blessed. Can we have our parting words, please? Parting words in one sentence. Can we have a parting word? Because of our time, we have spent a lot of time. We've had to move in and change link. Thank you for 3 hours. Yes, we have done so much today, and I hope people will be able to watch the video afterward. So yes,
they should subscribe and like it.
Yes, please go to the YouTube Florish-Gate consult, like, subscribe, so that you continue to get that. Some other things are also be coming in, as we move on. We're also looking at, yes, we have adverts there. We put an advert there. We also let you know there'll be also some social societal value talk show also will be coming up. That one will be infusing. We have get people who are interested in some basic project to talk about some things, and they're all the things that have to do with education. This is a season for us to just keep engaging ourselves and keep dialogue on. We can't be quiet. We need to keep talking, but ensure that what you are saying is encouraging somebody, is seasoned with salt, to encourage somebody and not to cause somebody to get depressed. Thank you so much. Your parting word, Mrs. Geshide, are you seeing your mouth? Your parting word?
Yes, I am.
Okay, ma. Your parting word, ma. Thank you so much.
My parting word is that we need to look at things differently and do things in a different way. And we need to take care of ourselves. We need to think outside of the box. We need to learn to save. We need to learn to prepare for a rainy day. And we need to look into the future.
God bless
like
you.
the portal that we started building our portal last year. We didn't know pandemic was like we were very happy. So we need to think outside the box, think ahead, and look at how we can do.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Differently,
the network
to give us a better.
We appreciate you so much for your time, man. Thank you so much. Come back, man. You're doing great. Mr. Itayo, are you in? Mr. Itayo?
Yes.
Mr. Itayo?
You don't remember me?
Mr. Itayo?
Yes, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay. How are you, man? No, I'm back.
Mr. Itayo, okay. Mr. Itayo is not in. Okay. Let's, Mr. Olaniyan, can we do a parting word? Our time is so fast spent.
Yes. We had a swelling time today. Another fantastic collaborative talk show, I would say. I just want our people to go by the words of Mr. Rotimi. Don't try to, but whatever we have been talking about, it's out of experience and what we have seen worked. So it's not time to begin to try. Look at your plan, look at your structure, what you can implement immediately, and begin to run with it. When you have it and you don't run with it, it will die with you, God forbid. You need to start doing something about it. In as much as we are hoping that the lockdown will be lifted, COVID-19 will go, but those ones are still under hope. Things that you are hoping for are not real, as it were. So do with the reality, deal with what is in front of you. Reach out to your staff, reach out to your parents. Those are the communities you have now. So the best way is to reach out to them and come up with possible solution to move your school to the next level, while you are still looking at other options of sourcing income, like other people have said. So we are still at it. I want to encourage you, don't be depressed, don't be emotionally down. We don't want to record another lagoon experience, somebody throwing himself inside the lagoon. Biko, I'm saying Igbo now, so please don't do that. Think about it. We've heard of school owners that have probably died because of depression. There's no need for that. God didn't create us to be depressed at this period of time. In fact, as human beings, we have the capacity, we have the resilience to thrive at any moment in time. So I want to encourage our people to keep pushing, keep believing in your vision, that dream that you have set up, keep believing in it. Educators over there, even things are not going well with your school owners, keep doing the right thing. Keep doing the right thing. Stand by your school owner. Stand by them. Provide solutions. If you are part of this kind of webinar, go back to your school owner and share with them that this is what you heard, this is what you heard, so that together you can build a formidable force to overcome the circumstances. And when you overcome, you will definitely reap together. So it is well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lanier. That was brilliant. Thank you for everything, the wisdom, the putting together of this School Matters webinar every time. It's an honor to have you work together. Fortnightly, see us again the next 2 weeks where we come out with something so exciting and meeting needs, because there are so many things that are happening in the education space, and we just want to give it a voice, a positive voice, and encourage others so that we can keep what we do on. So we please go to our YouTube channel, like it, subscribe to it, share the link, let people know that you have been blessed and that they can also be blessed. Share this link and let it go viral, and everybody can have access to watch it. And I also invite you to Florish-Gate School Admin Academy. It's a 3-month online section that we do on Telegram. It is a mind-blowing time. It's a session to skill up. Even while we are at home, getting prepared for resumption. It's a wonderful time. Mr. Lanier runs another one. He runs SAM Academy. It's also School Admin and Management Academy. It's also a 3-month session. Another of the session will be coming up in September. Another session for Florish-Gate School Admin will be coming up in August. And so we look forward to having you. And, Robbie Mind, we talk about issues that happen in school and begin to look for solution, profess solution, and get prepared, for anytime the government says, or the course is clear. It's even beyond government. When the course is clear, we are all ready, and then we will be there to resume. And we pray that none of our children shall be victims in Jesus' name.
Amen.
None of them, even the terminal class that are going on, the Lord will see them through. And for the states who are also entered, we pray that God will help them not to allow their ignorance, to eat on innocent children in Jesus' name. It's been nice being here. Mr. Itayo, thank you. Mrs. Geshide, you are awesome, ma. Mr. Laniyo, all the best. Thank you for everyone here. Mrs. Becky Atta.
Thank you all.
The Laposhitu, Sheike Odojukan. You are all great. Mrs. Babashola, all of you are wonderful. Mrs. Jimo, so many names. So thank you for being here with us. God bless you. Next 2 weeks, we'll be waiting to have another session together. Thank you. And if you think there are issues that you would want us to also look into, you can private chat us, and we have a lot of ideas too, but we want to only, what we look at is looking at issues that are current, you know, something that we meet the immediate need. We appreciate you once again. Thank you so much, and the Lord bless you. Amen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Amen.
And for the service providers, please, you have any information, you have any, just get across to me on WhatsApp. If you need any information, if you don't have their email or their contact number, I'll send you their numbers, because we need to begin to look at what works for our schools and how well we can come out of this even better. By the time school even resume, we can say, Papa, we are going to continue with our online and school homeschooling. God bless you all.